Good morning, everybody. This is the Oskar Quentin Show, where I talk about politics and related things on TikTok Live. If you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, there'll be a pinned comment at the right below this video telling you when the calls start, and maybe some timestamps in the description telling when all the calls start. I say maybe because I'm a little behind on editing. I've had a pretty busy few weeks. So some people have started commenting the timestamps for me. If you do that, thank you. I'm very busy. As everybody knows, it's been kind of a busy week for me for some on-show reasons and for some off-show reasons. But what is today even? Is today Tuesday? Wednesday? Oh my gosh. You lose track of time being a live streamer. It's hard, you know. I have to pay attention to when the week starts because of the news, because, you know, Trump likes to do his market manipulation type moves during the weekend. But it's all a blur by Thursday. Let's get the multi-guest request queue open so I can see who's trying to join. Clickety click. Is it working? There we go. Let's get the Discord up so that the mods can tell me when I'm fucking up. Oh, let's see. Where did that go? Oscar is live. That's the chat we want. Hello. There we go. Excellent. Sorry, just a little disorganized getting started today. Midwest Progressive is in the chat on TikTok, sharing the live with everybody who's ever been born. So let's get some W's in the chat for Midwest Progressive. Who else do we have here? We've got the regular mod team. We've got some regular names. Ashley, Mile High Heathen. Will is here. Everybody say hello to Will. And Diava Talks. Raven, some of the mods. Midwest is one of the mods. We got Scott. We got Jara. We got Laura. Got Amanda, who's over on YouTube. We got Kronos. Oh my gosh, the chat is moving so fast. This is getting overwhelming, people. Stop watching my show. There's too many of you. I can't keep up. Don't stop watching my show. I love it. It's very exciting. Let's see. 2 minutes in, and we've got almost 100 people watching already. Over 100 considering both streams. Excellent, excellent. Don't Steal My Stuff says, it's nice to catch the show live. Welcome, if this is your first one to see live. It's always exciting not knowing if it's going to be a good show or not. Let's see. Jay, I see you in the chat, but if we've got a friendly topic, let's save it for the end, just because it's for getting the show pushed. It's important to get some opposition in here, and you are not despicable enough a person, Jay. I actually rather like you as a person. We're looking for people I don't like so much for, you know, first hour and a half of the show. Crystal is also here live for the first time. Fantastic. Jay is just saying they still need to be a mod for the show. Let's fix that right now. Oh, wait, no, how do I do it? We click there, and then we say 3 dots, and then we go to add moderator, and I'm going to give you full mod privileges to manage guests as well, which means you can kick the people who scream the N-word if I'm AFK or something like that. Excellent, excellent. Karen says, I hope we get cranky Oscar today. You know, it's like I got all the exposure from Dean, and then like I just like looked at the last couple of VODs that were up, and I'm like, oh, it's been kind of spicy Oscar for a couple of days, due to my friends being arrested and death threats. So, you know, it's not spicy Oscar every day if you're newer to the show. I like a bunch of people showed up, watched one episode, and were like, I hate your style. And I was just kind of like, maybe watch 2 episodes. You watched one whole episode, maybe watch 2. Slightly different Oscar you get every day. We're all a unique person every day that we roll over and get out of bed. Korey is in the queue. Korey with a K is going to be our first caller. We'll find out how old he is and if he's a Trump supporter. How old are you?
I'm 19.
19. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yep.
Why is that?
Well, I came up here to talk about MAGA can't handle the truth. I disagree.
Okay. I think that there's a lot of things that MAGA think that aren't true, and when presented with what the truth is, it causes things like cognitive dissonance and sometimes crash outs, name calling, death threats. I spend 2 hours a day trying to tell MAGA what the truth is, and then I watch how they handle it. They can't fucking do it, man.
Too. I can agree. I can agree.
I wouldn't say I'm a neoliberal.
Hold up. I can agree that some MAGA may seem like that, but I think that is majority. It happens on a neoliberal side that you guys like making death threats towards ICE agents. Hold up. I'm not done.
I don't make death threats towards ICE agents.
The reason why the person that unalived, what's her name, Renee Good, he has to live on a military base because they're getting death threats from communists and all those people, neoliberals. You guys,
I'm sorry, you're moving on past a lot of things here. You're talking about neoliberals.
We gotta.
Like, here's the truth.
Grudge.
Here's the truth. Here's one simple truth. Excuse me.
Dude,
I don't use the mute button. I'm not letting you speak. It's my show. I don't use the mute button. Another host would use the mute button. I'm going to talk over you until you let me speak. Here's the truth. Bro. Here's the truth. I'm not a neoliberal. I don't think that's a truth that you can handle.
What?
Yeah,
dude.
Mind blowing.
I said hold the same grudge. I'm not temporarily disagreeing that some MAGA does make. Yes, people will do that, and would you hold the same grudge towards the left?
I'm sorry. Just true or false? Oskar Quentin is a neoliberal.
Oscar, well, no, I don't know where you stand, bro.
Okay, why are we talking about neoliberals then?
Because most neoliberals are Kamala supporters. We're not talking about classic liberals, because classic liberal can vote Republican or Democrat. But when we look at neoliberals, they are typically voting. They would have voted Kamala Harris, and they're like pro-choice. Most likely trans or gay. Or something.
You're just moving on to a bunch of stuff you've got big feelings about. What
I'm just stating what they are, dude.
Why are we talking about neoliberals?
Because I said, can we hold the same grudge towards the opposite side?
I don't consider neoliberals the opposite side. Neoliberals are a rather narrow subset of liberals. They believe strongly in
stupid.
They're like a more centrist flavor of liberal that believes strongly in capitalism. I'm no such person. I don't present such ideologies. Most people on the left don't agree with those ideologies. Why are you so upset about neoliberals?
I mean, to be honest, I'm gonna give. So my reason is that as a black man, they feel like they get to tell us what we can and cannot say. I think there was, if not mistaken, there was someone in New York that said black people don't even know what a computer card is. Like,
I can reference all sorts of random people saying horrible things about black people. What are you calling into my show to address with me?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to discuss like Israel and the Iran war.
Okay. Sure. I'll let you lead that discussion. Let's make the topic Iran.
Yeah, I think that we should have definitely went in on Iran, especially in 1983 and stuff. I think we should have been did this because in 1983 Hezbollah took out 444 Americans, 20 Marines, 3 if not mistaken.
Yeah, Iran's bad, terrible regime, lots of bad guys over there in the Middle East.
Yeah, they like to fund terrorism in the Middle East.
That's bad.
Against Israel. The Houthis been disrupting trade in the Red Sea, which we had to see Trump last year. He had to bomb them.
You can point to a problem and say that a problem is bad. I am pointing to Trump's solution, which is the way that he has behaved with Iran during his second term as president. I also think that's bad. I don't think he's doing a good job. Do you want me to explain why, or do you want to maybe argue that he's okay? I think he's causing unnecessary death and destruction and disrupting global stability. I think he's causing people to die, and I think that in his first term, he really set the stage for him to fuck up this badly during his second term by throwing out the JCPOA, which is an agreement that Obama brokered to prevent Iran from
and also it gave them money. It froze funds.
So let's just talk about the unfrozen $1.7 billion. Now that the war is possibly concluding, it seems like this deal's a little shaky. The Strait was closed again this weekend. Trump's solution, I'm not even going to address whether or not that $1.7 billion that Obama unsealed to them is good or bad, because the current deal the current deal from the Trump administration gives them $300 billion, which is worse.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think that Trump is capitulating.
Which is worse?
Dude, let me speak.
Then answer the question, which is worse?
Well, the $300 billion, absolutely.
Okay, so the $300 billion, the thing that Trump did is way worse. I would say about 150 times worse than what Obama did. Do you recognize that it would have been better because $300 billion is so much more money than $1.8 billion, even if we ignore all the people who've died, even if we ignore what's happened to global stability, even if we ignore what's happened to gas prices, even if we ignore the effect that's going to have on inflation. If we just look at funding terrorism, which is what you are concerned about, we had a deal that prevented all that death and destruction and global disruption, and it gave them $1.8 billion. Now we have all that death and destruction and that global instability, and we gave them $300 billion. How on earth are you defending that?
Yeah, could you let me speak, right? So you're making an analogy, right? That's similar to saying, if I stab someone with a pencil and you stab someone with a knife, that's two different things, right? So just because they both is bad, I don't agree with either Obama's
JCPOA. Your analogy's not quite right. What's going on? Excuse me, I'm going to respond to your analogy. I'm going to address your analogy. The first thing you said is your analogy. Now you're moving on to something else because you don't want me to address your analogy. I'm going to address your analogy. It's not quite right. It's a little bit more like if somebody's stabbing me with a pencil. Got to mute the new guest. Sorry about that. Your analogy is a little bit more like if somebody was stabbing me with a pencil and then you grabbed him and said, no, and you gave him a knife and then put him back and then he started stabbing me with the knife. That's what's happened.
No, dude. Well, so... Wait, what?
In the analogy, Trump is the person swapping out the pencil for the knife. Iran is the person doing the stabbing, and the United States and actually the rest of the world.
It's Obama. You're saying that. I think both is bad. Would you agree that
we can be upset? We can be upset about the guy who gave the person the pencil, but we're talking about the person who replaced it with a knife.
Yeah, both is bad. Would you agree?
One is, by the math, more than 100 times worse than the other.
You guys can't take accountability, bro.
Is the number 300 billion more or less than 100 times bigger than the number 1.7 billion?
It's 300 times bigger.
It's it's $1.8 billion, so it's like less a little bit. It's probably like 120, 125 times bigger, something like that.
Sure,
I'm not really doing the exact math. So why are you so upset? Why are you talking about this 1% smaller, 1% the size problem from like 10 or 15 years ago?
Yeah, so with that money, Iran was able to buy things. They were also able to fund their terrorist groups inside the Middle East, like Hezbollah.
Oh, no. What did Iran do with that money that was so bad?
Are you serious?
Show me a news article. Iran did bad things, but I'm not going to say that they unalived so many of their protesters because they got $1 billion 10 years ago. I don't think that makes sense. I don't think that causally makes sense. When we negotiate with terrorists, which is what we're doing when we make a deal with Iran, there's this unfortunate thing that we have to do, which is give the terrorists something that they want. Otherwise, they won't negotiate with us. Can you at least recognize that to negotiate with a country, we have to give them something they want, or there's no reason for them to agree to a deal?
Well, sure. I guess not.
So we gave them $1.8 billion and it avoided them nuclearizing. That was the trade. That was roughly the deal. It was, by the way, not taxpayer money. It was like assets from a long time ago that were frozen with some interest on it. It's like a little complicated exactly where the money came from. It's a little complicated exactly where the $300 billion is going to come from. I thought it was taxpayer money for a couple of days. I was pissed as hell, but I was wrong. Somebody called in and corrected me, and I had to issue a correction in my description. But just the thing is, Trump made the problem way fucking worse. That's the truth. You've admitted it because you recognize that the number 300 billion is significantly larger than the number 1.8 billion. How is it that you're so stuck on this 1.8 billion dollars when the news flash this week is that Trump has made the number more than 100 times bigger?
They were using that money to fund people like the Houthis, the Hezbollah.
What are they going to do with this 300 billion though?
Probably rebel their country.
They're not going to use any of it for funding terrorism, you're suggesting. They're only going to use it for good things.
Hold up. If we look at the Houthis, if we look at the time of Obama, the Houthis, they were way more powerful. The Houthis are significantly destroyed in northern Yemen because Trump bombed them.
The question is, why are you focusing on that when Trump made that financial problem more than 100 times worse?
Yeah, and I said it was bad, did I not?
I understand that it was bad. We've established that. I recognize it's not great for Iran to get $1.8 billion. The reason I think it was okay is because I think we got more.
I'm talking about the
I think it was worth it. Dude. Oh, okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I said that was bad. I said that was bad.
I didn't. Okay, again, the question isn't are either of these. The question is not are either of these things bad. The question is why are you focusing on the thing that is more than 100 times smaller?
Huh?
You are focusing on the problem from 10 years ago that is 100 times smaller. Why are you doing that is the question.
Because two things can be wrong at the same time, buddy. It doesn't matter how long ago it still gave them money. You can't recognize that because you guys don't like taking accountability.
Trump gave them 100 times more money, and we didn't get anything in return because the only thing we're allegedly going to get in return.
Oscar, right? Oscar, did I not recognize? Did I not recognize and say that? I think that Trump giving them $300 billion is him capitulating, like giving them money. I said that was bad. Did I not?
Why are we talking about that in consideration of the fact that we got something pretty nice in exchange for that $1.8 billion? Iran not nuclearizing. That's a big W for the United States. This time we're giving them $300 billion from some neighboring countries, and we're not even getting anything in return because we're just trying to undo the war that Trump started. We're not getting denuclearization. We're not getting anything beneficial. We're just going back to the way that things were like 6 months ago with this deal.
Yeah, and I don't agree with that. I think that he is capitulating. So,
right, you can call that.
And I brought up the 1.8 billion is because you brought up the JCPOA, which allowed Iran to fund terrorism inside the Middle East.
Hold on just a moment. Kronos sent me $5 on YouTube Super Chat to say, got a clock on early. See you guys at the end of this, hopefully. Well, see you at the end, Kronos. W's in the chat for Kronos with a K. What are you trying to convince me of, dude? What is the topic right now? I know we're talking about Iran. I'm saying that Trump has been a total buffoon and made the situation worse. Do you think that that's fair to say, that compared to where we were when Obama left things off at the end of his term, that Trump has been a complete buffoon and made the problem way worse?
I think I can agree with that. Yeah.
Then why did you bring up Iran? What did you want to tell me about Iran?
Justified. I think that the war is absolutely justified. And I was trying to go with the Beirut bombing of 1983, but you shifted over to, I think that Trump is this and that, and
you just admitted that he made it worse.
Well, yeah, but it's the war itself is justified. I care about American lives.
Okay, here we are. Let's say
1983 Beirut bombing.
Hypothetically, let's just say, because we can't be terribly certain about what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. Let's just say that this deal holds, which I think it already may have collapsed this weekend. But let's just say that it holds. Good. The war is over. We did it. Yay! It's done. We're giving them $300 billion. How can you right now look at this war? Like, what did we get from the war? What was accomplished?
We bombed them.
But now we're giving them $300 billion. And there's this interesting thing that happens. Like, we dropped two nukes on Japan. And if you look at Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they're some of the most developed, wonderful, modern cities in the world. Because it's kind of the
atomic. It was atomic.
Yes,
it was atomic.
It is the silver lining.
Not hydrogen.
Come on, don't be ridiculous. The point I'm making is that when you level a city, there's this silver lining, which is that 50 years later, it's a way nicer city because everything's brand new. We gave them the money to rebuild the stuff that we bombed. So if we're going to look long term about the health of Iran on the world stage, they're going to have bigger, nicer shit going forward because we destroyed all their old shit and gave them the money to buy new shit. How is that an improvement over the state of affairs?
You said this is a hypothetical, right?
Hypothetically, if the deal holds, is the only hypothetical part of this, because Trump deals don't generally hold because he fucking sucks at negotiation. But we're just going to say, hypothetically, if the war is over and what Trump is currently saying about it is accurate, how are we in a better situation having fought this few months long war? What you said the war was justified. What is better because of the war is the question.
Well, it shows our military might.
No, it doesn't. We couldn't even secure the Strait of Hormuz. We lost the fucking war, dude.
We didn't. Well, I wouldn't say we lost the war. I'm not.
They threatened. No, they grabbed the global oil market by the nutsack and are only releasing their grip when we give them hundreds of billions of dollars. Are you seriously going to call that a win?
Hold up.
What is wrong with you?
Let me speak. Anyways, yeah. So when we look at a global standpoint, Iran, their economy wasn't doing good. I'll pull up their I think it was their prime minister. I don't know what it was that said what they wanted to accomplish if a U.S. attack was to happen. Hold up.
Minor correction. Part of the current agreement is the thank you Discord, by the way. Lady of Israel on there is Lady of Azrael. I don't know how that username is pronounced. They're letting me know that part of the agreement is that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, which I will just add is still just going back to the way that the way that Obama left it. They weren't going to have a nuclear weapon. We gave them a little teeny tiny bit of money that wasn't even ours to begin with. I'm just trying to understand like what you think is better with the war now potentially behind us. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, hold up.
Tell me what ChatGPT says. Let's hear it.
It's not ChatGPT. I'm actually looking
whatever.
through .edus and stuff.
Looking at .edu is cool, bro.
How old are you, bro?
How old do you think I am?
Like 5 years old, bro. You're not letting me speak.
Okay.
Well,
you called in certain that the war was good. I'm asking you why, and you're sitting there fastidiously Googling, trying to figure it out.
No, you said
you know that your position is indefensible.
You said we lost.
Clearly. I explained how. How did we win? What was the win? What did we get? What was the success? Khamenei's dead. His son is now the leader. He's younger. He's not 86 years old, and he's mad at us because we killed his dad. That's the only thing you could possibly point to, and it's still not a win because Khamenei was due to die of old age due to being 86 years old.
Not Khamenei, buddy. It's not Kamala Harris. It's Kamala, right?
You know what? I'll say this: if I mispronounced his name, I'm gonna be a hypocrite and be okay with it because he's like a war criminal. But I think it's disrespectful to mispronounce Kamala Harris's name because she's an accomplished public servant who served as vice president and believes in the Constitution and hasn't murdered any protesters by the stroke of pen.
She's an idiot.
Cool. Anyway, what did we get in the war? Why was the war good? What was the benefit? How did we win?
Hold up.
Keep clicking.
Hold up. I'm pulling up what's the name? I'm pulling up Trump.
Did you Google how did we win the war? Like, what are you Googling?
No. I'm looking up what was the Trump administration goals in the Iran conflict, and then I also looked up what was Iran's.
Why did you call in to talk about Iran with not knowing the answer to that question?
Well, I have to pull up what they directly said. I'm not going to say what they said verbatim, right?
You are thoroughly convinced that the war is good. Get your hands off the keyboard and tell me why.
Yeah, like I said, the 1983 Beirut bombings, I think that retaliation for that is justified. We should have been winning. Reagan did it.
Okay, hold on. So let's just like make sure we understand a few things. If a country in the past has done something bad to the United States, we should retaliate against them now for it? We should kill people who were not born when that happened in order to retaliate? Is that your position on global retaliation?
Well, when we look at that, I mean...
We bombed a school.
Hold up. Let me speak, right?
We bombed a school.
You guys don't care. Hold up. Let me get something straight, right? And if you want to speak over each other, we can play that game, bro. So
yes, we can. I'm very good at that game.
When it comes to
I'm a
human
professional
lives,
at
bro,
that
stop
game.
playing this whole school thing or whatever. We can, yes, people die in war. Children are going to die in war.
Oh, yeah, people die all the time. Why though? I think we want to reduce that. I think we want to reduce the number of people who do.
We use AI and stuff.
I asked a very specific question. We are not going to proceed until you answer the very specific question I asked. This is a thing I do on my show. I have a very specific question. I want your answer to it. It's a yes or no question. I said, you are suggesting, get out of the teacup and pay attention, dude. I know you're not listening when you're Googling.
Someone texted me. Shut up, bro.
Okay, fair. I'll back off. I'll recant that one. Just do pay attention because it doesn't sound like you're paying attention. You said that we need to retaliate for something that happened in 1983. 1983 was what? 44 years ago? A lot of the people that we've killed, including the 170 odd schoolgirls who died in a school that we bombed with a Tomahawk missile, were not born in 1983. I don't think that people should be murdered for the sins of their ancestors.
This dude's stupid, bro. Shut up, bro.
My question is, do you think people should die for things that people in the past decades ago did?
I think that their country should pay for it, not them specifically, no.
Okay, it was the people who paid. Those children died. Their school was bombed. Their families are mad at us. Their family might be plotting against our safety is something I worry about as a victim of terrorism. Can we recognize... Can you just answer yes or no? Dude. Should we kill people who for things that happened before those people were born? Is that good? Is that retaliation?
I don't think
tongue-tied just trying to ask you.
Oh my God, dude. If you speak over me one more time, I'm not going to answer any of your questions, and I'm going to speak over you.
If you speak out of turn one more time, young man, I'm going to turn this car around. Stop making threats, dude. You have no power on my show. Answer the question. Yes or no? Should we kill people? Should we kill people for things that happened before they were born?
I'm going to answer your first initial question. So our goals in the war stated by President Trump March 2nd, our objectives are clear. First, we're destroying Iran's missiles capability and their capacity to produce brand new ones. Pretty good ones they make. Second, we're annihilating their navy, which we did. Third, we're ensuring that the world's #1 sponsor of terror can never obtain a nuclear weapon, which they haven't got one in this war because we've been bombing them. Good. And finally, we're ensuring that the Iranian regime cannot continue to arm, fund, or direct terrorist armies outside their border. Now, can you... The
question again is that should we retaliate against countries for things they've done in decades past? Do people deserve to die because of things that happened before they were born? That is the question. We are simply not going to move on. I'm very impressed with your ability to read a ChatGPT blurb. You did better than most of my guests. The question again is
whitehouse.gov.
Fuck whitehouse.gov. The whitehouse.gov has a line posted that. No, I don't see that. The only thing I'm interested in seeing is the answer. I believe that it's whitehouse.gov, which is not a good source for this sort of thing. You don't like my question. The question is, again, should we retaliate?
You don't like facts.
I was very clear.
You don't like facts.
No. You're afraid of my question. I don't care, dude. It's not. We're not going to move on. You can click the run button. You can leave. You can run away from my question. You can chuckle. Oscar's got me in the corner. I don't like it. It's scary. Sorry. You can get out of the corner by clicking the run button or by answering my question. Do you think we should bomb countries because of things that happened 50 years ago? Do people deserve to die for things that happened before they were born? Yes or no?
They're military, yes. Civilians, no.
Okay, so you do recognize that the thousands of civilians who've died in this war is a really serious negative thing.
Civilians die in war, I understand.
Okay, the most important person that we killed in their regime, because I do think that the Iranian regime is bad, and I do think that there's cause to say that like military action against such groups are legitimate. The only thing we really accomplished
is shifting, bro.
You answered my question, so I'm moving on to the next point, which is that we did unalive an 86-year-old whose son is now in control. So again, I just asked the question: where's the win? Where's the benefit?
Yeah, I'm stating right here. So I'm not saying that we completed all our objectives because that will make any war in history.
What on earth did we achieve? You listed some objectives. We did none.
Hold up. Stated by President Trump March 2nd, he said that our goal was to annihilate their navy. Now, do Iran have a powerful navy?
They're going to once we give them $300 billion to rebuild it.
Nope. Answer the question. How strong is their navy now?
Weaker than it was before. Congratulations. It's going to be bigger because we're giving them $300 billion to fix it, though. I said earlier in the call that when we nuked Japan, we actually gave them this weird little silver lining of how those two cities that we nuked are now hyper-modern cities because they were able to rebuild. We didn't even help them financially,
They're atomic,
I don't think.
Bro. It was atomic weapons, bro. If it was hydrogen bombs, it would have been way worse.
We destroyed more property in Germany with conventional bombing than we destroyed in Japan with atomic bombing. It makes no difference. It doesn't matter.
There's something called radiation from nuclear weapons, like
the fissile material in those types of bombs gets used up in the explosion, and the radiation that is a huge problem in those areas for a short time after the blast goes away, which is why people can live in Hiroshima and Nagasaki today. You are making shit up about nuclear physics because you don't understand it. I don't care, dude. Terror's bad. That's your argument. I don't care, dude. You're making shit up about nuclear physics to make your argument right.
You don't care about terrorists, but you care about children.
You're talking to a 9/11 victim. If you want to go down that rabbit hole, we can. I don't suggest it. I want to ask you, why are you suggesting it matters that the weapons were nuclear when we destroyed more property in Germany with conventional bombing without using nukes? Because it just has to do with the amount of destruction.
We destroyed more cities in Germany, maybe because if we look at Japan, it's an island. The closest we've ever gotten is it's not Iwo Jima. It was the Ryukyu Islands, the south of Japan. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like RKU.
What? Okay. Here. I just want to understand. We had this agreement with Obama. Trump became president. That was like 10 years ago. What is better today than it was then?
I never made that claim, bro. You're pivoting.
Then what did we accomplish with the war? That is the grand topic we're trying to understand.
That we annihilate their navy. You recognize that, right?
We're good. No, I don't recognize that as the only thing we should say because we annihilated their navy and gave them $300 billion, which means that if we fast forward 10 or 20 years, I suspect they will have a more powerful navy than they otherwise would have.
Hold up.
Dude, do you think it's a good show with you typing everything I say into ChatGPT looking for help?
No, I'm not using ChatGPT, actually. I'm surprised that ChatGPT hasn't came up
Here's
yet.
what I don't understand. If you're so convinced that I'm wrong about this, why do you need to Google for an answer? Just tell me the answer that you currently use to believe this.
Because I'm trying to back my stuff up with facts.
Yes, because you haven't already done that, which is why it's unreasonable that you believe this.
Yes, I have.
Then tell me those facts instead of looking for them, because it's only reasonable for you to believe this if you know those facts at top of mind. Stop making that sound. I'm gonna kick you. People don't like those types of noises on my show.
Stop being sorry, man. Let me just state my facts, right? So basically, like I said, stated from the whitehouse.gov. Now, if you don't like that source, then womp womp. You can keep crying. It's not ChatGPT. It's an actual source.
It's a source that comes. It's just look. We're talking about Iran versus Trump, and WhiteHouse.gov is Trump. You're listening to one of the two parties. You and I are third parties trying to analyze their behavior. That'd be like if I pulled a resource from the Iranian regime and talked about it.
This is directly quoting Trump. They're quoting Trump.
Okay, here's new question. New question. I'm in charge of the show. I have another yes or no question that we're not going to proceed past. Do you recognize, given that we as third parties are trying to judge this war, that you listening to Trump through WhiteHouse.gov would be like me listening to the Iranian regime from their government website about what's happening? Do you think that either of those approaches are reasonable? Yes or no?
If they say something out their mouth,
I'm not asking what Trump is saying. Bro. Trump says a bunch of bullshit. I don't care about that. I'm asking why you think his performance is good, and you have not provided me an answer that makes any kind of sense.
Keep shifting. You asked me, why is this war justified, and why is his performance like you're shifting? You've been doing this all conversation. Bro.
What is better compared to 10 years ago? You said the Navy has been disabled. I agree. We've bombed a lot of boats. They are going to build new ones because they're giving them 300.
War. I didn't say 10 years, bro. This war has not been. I'm talking about the conflict, gang.
I'm saying that in the future, which is the thing that we should care about. If you care about them funding terrorism, if you care about them having a navy, we're concerned about things they're going to do in the future, right?
No, I really don't care about the future. I'm cared about now.
If you don't care about the future, dude, tomorrow is the future. True or false? Tomorrow is in the future.
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to care about the boats that they have in the future, right?
Sure.
Okay, and in the near future, they're going to have more boats because we're giving them $300 billion. So we did not make that. We temporarily made their navy weaker by destroying some vessels, but because in the negotiations that came after that.
No, that's not true. We destroyed their navy. Like, not destroy. I wouldn't say destroy, but we critically, I'm using the word critically. We critically disabled their navy.
I think the word that I used was disabled. So you agree, we disabled their navy temporarily, not 100%. You were just
critically, buddy.
Critically disabled. Congratulations. In 10 years, will it be bigger or smaller than it otherwise would have been?
It will most likely be bigger because they can rebuild. I mean, any country can rebuild, bro.
Especially if we give them $300 billion. What is this?
Have we sent them the $300 billion yet?
They have started to receive funds from the Gulf Consortium, who are paying them that $300 billion.
Yeah, yes, they've started to receive. The United States?
Not, dude, it doesn't matter. The money that we gave them
it does matter.
No, okay, did the money that we gave them under the Obama deal come from the taxpayer? Because it did not.
It did not come from the United States. It's coming from Gulf countries, gang.
Okay, and we negotiated that they're going to get that.
So we aren't paying for that, man, on dead homies.
But $300 billion is going to rebuild their navy, which is my point, and they got the $300 billion because of us. You are now moving the goalpost back to say that it's not about whether or not they can rebuild their infrastructure and their navy. It's about where the money came from, which was not the discussion at all. We could have printed the money and it wouldn't have made it. We could have printed the money and it wouldn't have made a difference. I'm not pivoting. I'm trying to pin you down. You're pivoting. I'm pinning you down.
No, kid, I haven't been asking you questions. You've been asking me questions, and you keep pivoting to different topics.
You refuse to answer my questions, so I keep pivoting back to my questions.
Can we focus on one?
Keep or kick, chat. He's not answering any questions. Let me know.
Yeah, I did answer your questions. You're just.
What is better today than it was 10 years ago under the Obama's brokered JCPOA?
What was better 10 years ago?
What is better today than then?
Trump became president, and yeah, that was better 10 years ago, and then 10 years today, Trump became president. That answers your question.
I don't think it does.
Yes, it does.
Trump became president. It's just so good that a rapist is president that's the win. Doesn't matter that all those children died. Doesn't matter that global fuel prices are through the roof. Doesn't matter that inflation's going to be over 4% by the end of the year. Doesn't matter that Iran is more mad at us than they were before, and now they have $300 billion to figure out how to get revenge on us.
That's like you do
because you're concerned about the terrorism they're going to fund. The chat wants you gone. I'm going to kick you. Anything you want to say before I kick you?
Shut up, nigga.
Yep. Always got to make sure they get the slur in. Anyway, I don't necessarily have all that big a problem with people of color using that slur, and he might have been, but whatever. He just wanted to get it in because he knew he was gone. Let's see what the super chats say. Mirror says, for $5 on YouTube super chat, 20 minutes into the call, and the only truth that the caller has been able to handle is that one pile of money is bigger than the other. Yep, didn't stay on that very long, did we? Tabby, longtime viewer and donator, sent me, oh god, where did it run off to? So many messages. The YouTube chat's going crazy. He said, Iran did not have a nuclear weapon to begin with. All we did was give everything back to Iran at the cost of dead schoolgirls. Correct. That is absolutely correct. The caller doesn't care about dead schoolgirls. For $2, Vid Armors said, kick him. He's clearly trolling you. I don't think he was trolling. I think he genuinely just wants to suckle at that sweet orange taint and was trying to get the internet to provide him an answer to my line of reasoning, but simply wasn't going to happen because he wasn't making any goddamn sense. All right, everybody. If you made it this far into the show, you've been listening for a half hour, and you must like me to some degree. If you like me that much, you should go to the link tree in my bio and follow me on the other platforms. And it kept on getting booted for some reason. I don't know if the mods were booting it or what, but I was trying to have my backup account, which is Oskar Quentin 2, that everybody should follow, in the corner of the screen over here on TikTok. So let's accept me into the chat. Let's join. Ooh, and let's mute. There we go. That's Oskar Quentin 2. We're going to leave that in the corner. So if you're watching on TikTok, go ahead and get down there and follow that account, because that's the account this show is going to be on when this one gets banned for me accidentally saying something that Trump did in clear language. Whoopsie daisy. That happens sometimes. None of those things cost a dime. You can follow me on the other platforms for free, but if you have a dime that you want to spare, you can send it to my Venmo, Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, or Patreon and get a message read on the show. So that's the way the monetization of this works, and the monetization of this is important because this is my full-time job. I don't do anything but this except for be a musician in the evenings sometimes. Anyway, super busy queue today. We're going to talk to Wewa? I don't know. I see you, Keemokazi, but I'm going to get to some new names before I get to you. How old are you?
Me?
Yeah.
18.
18. I believe you. Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I think his, well, we're talking about the war, like on the war side. I do support him. Well, here's number one. Iran is a very dangerous country. They've been terrorizing the U.S. They've been terrorizing, other countries. Like one example is that the airline issues in the 80s and the 70s and the 90s. They've been going on the airplanes, and they've been they've been like terrorizing airplanes. They've been crashing them. They've been hijacking them, just like how 9/11. But I don't think they did 9/11. I don't know who did 9/11, but
yeah, it wasn't Iran.
Yeah, no, but like it's just that major airline issue. Number one.
Should we wage war against all countries that pose a reasonable threat against us?
A reasonable threat? Yeah, we should. Yeah.
So we should go to war with North Korea.
Well, here's the issue with that. They have a nuclear weapon. They have a crazy leader. So does Iran. Iran has a crazy leader. But the difference with Iran, the difference with North Korea is North Korea has a nuclear weapon, and they pose a way greater threat. They could hit us with a nuclear missile, and they could get all of their buddies, and they can just jump on us.
Okay, so the Taliban now controls Afghanistan. They don't have nuclear weapons, but they hate our guts, and they were involved in 9/11. Should we go to war with Afghanistan?
So, yeah, we were already in war with Afghanistan, but the Biden administration pulled out. And we need to pull that out.
And Afghanistan did not succeed at setting up the government that we spent 20 years trying to get them to set up. They folded immediately, and the Taliban has control. Now that the Taliban, which is a terrorist organization of the sort that the previous caller was concerned about Iran funding, now that Afghanistan, who does not have nukes, because you threw North Korea off the table because they do have nukes, that's reasonable. Mutually assured destruction. We shouldn't mess with North Korea. I agree. Afghanistan doesn't have nukes. We could level them. Should we?
No, we shouldn't, because...
Okay, then why is that different?
Because the difference with Iran is that Iran is just... With Iran, they've been... I don't know if I don't know everything with Afghanistan, but I don't know if they've been trying to make a nuclear weapon. I don't know any of that information. The only information I know is, like, Iran. I know Iran is trying to make a nuclear weapon. That's one of Trump's main goals. And
if that was Trump's main goal, then why did he pull out of the JCPOA in his first term? Obama brokered a deal that prevented them from making nuclear weapons.
What's the I'm sorry.
When you hear, you're young. I'm not going to fault you for not remembering this. This is a long time ago. But Obama, when he was president, he brokered a deal called the JCPOA. A lot of people on the right are very upset that in the deal, Iran got like $1.8 billion. It wasn't taxpayer money. Like, it didn't come out of the federal budget. It was like frozen assets that had maybe some interest on it. Maybe the interest came from the taxpayer. I'm not sure. But it was $1.8 billion. Let me just, I really want to give you a chance to understand this. So can I just ask, like, can I like kind of go into teacher mode? I actually just retired from being a high school teacher. So would you forgive me if I just like went into teacher mode and talk to you about this for a moment to get some clarity about, like, you were a kid when all this started. So, and Trump has shown up and changed things. So I just really want to make sure you understand this. Obama brokered the JCPOA. They got $1.8 billion in it. That was real upsetting for lots of people. But it stopped them from making nuclear weapons. We were allowed to physically send inspectors into their facilities to investigate what they were doing, to see what they were doing with nuclear material, because they were still working with some nuclear material for nuclear power programs. But we got to send men with clipboards to check, and it's really hard to hide nuclear weapons because they're radioactive. So I have some trust in that system. Trump threw that deal away in his first term. He got rid of it. He just canceled it. He said no more. Are you following me so far? Yeah.
Wait, what was the country that we went to, like, with the clipboards in again?
Iran.
Okay, so and he threw that deal away?
Yeah, Obama, actually there's a video of Trump from like 2012 saying that if Obama failed to do such a negotiation, he'd be a bad president, but he didn't fail. He did it. He got them to agree to not make nuclear weapons, and he got them to agree to us sending very frequently, like hundreds of times a year, to different facilities, inspectors in to check if they had nuclear weapons or were working on them. And Trump threw that deal away in his first term. When Biden became president, Biden tried to put it back in place. He said, guys, sorry about Trump. Can we please go back to having this deal where you get this like little bit of money and you guys don't make nuclear weapons and we just kind of stay chill? They weren't about it. They didn't want to do it again. We kind of lost the opportunity. So now then 5-6 years later, Trump is president again. And he's using this excuse that they're trying to work on nuclear weapons. But what I'm pointing out by teaching you about this is that it is Donald Trump's fault that they were working on nuclear weapons, because they were stopped from working on nuclear weapons by, remove. It's wanting me to remove you, and I don't know why. The live will be unavailable. Dude. I like.
All right, well, you can remove me, but I just want to say that. All right, just remove me. Just kidding me. I don't want to press it live.
Call back later. Mods, do I reset? I got a warning for having him on. What even was it for? It didn't tell me. Like, what the heck? If he has a second account, if you're listening, get in the chat and tell me a second account. Oh, was it age? Yeah, probably isn't 18. That was probably the issue. Oh, man, I feel like he was listening. He just didn't know. I was like, oh, you don't even know about this because you're 18. Gosh. All right, the mods are... I did ask his age. I just believed him from his voice, which I know is... I considered asking him some interrogation questions. Are we going to restart? Yeah, mods are advising me to restart. So if you're watching on YouTube, nothing interesting is going to happen. Just hang tight. On TikTok, just get following me if you're not. I see 78 of you have already followed me today. Yeah, it probably was age, because he was being way more respectful from the previous call. So the live stream's going to end in about 15 seconds, so you can just hang tight, hit my picture when it comes up on the screen in a second, go to my profile, wait, and then I'll be live again. If you're already following me, you know how to get there. But for everybody, I'm only going to be offline for like 2 seconds, so we're just going to split the stream in half today. So I'll see you guys in 10 seconds. And live, and now. Hello, Donald Trump probably raped a bunch of kids with Epstein. Just going to say that to the people watching on YouTube, because I can't say it on TikTok. Donald Trump almost certainly raped children. I'll say it one more time before I hit live. Donald Trump, with really considerable certainty, not quite as good certainty as some other things, but we're all pretty sure he definitely raped some kids, right? Like, anyway, going live on TikTok. Let's see how quickly we get back. That was fun. Oh, the live has ended. Right. Let's see. How am I doing on followers on Oskar Quentin too? It's good. It's good. People are really, that conversion thing is working. People are here. I should get back in the request queue on this one. Let's see. Oskar Quentin. Join. Request. All right. Yeah. While we're getting back in here, I will remind everybody that you should. Ooh, I should mute myself. Goodbye, me. Yeah, if you're watching on TikTok, make sure you're following the other account, because we have situations like that one where I get a flag for the guest being potentially underage or whatever it was, and that puts the account in danger. That's why we had to restart the live stream, so that I don't get 2 violations in the same live stream. That's real bad for the account. So if the account gets banned, we do need to we're going to be doing the show from this account. So get following on there if you want to be able to have the red ring show up on your friend's page on TikTok, or get the push notification or whatever it is. That is going to be the backup account. Let's hop over to Venmo. Nobody on Venmo? Oh my goodness. By the way, I have to thank Mike, because Mike sent me $100 on Buy Me a Coffee on the 19th, and then on the 21st he sent me another $100, and somewhere last week my notifications for Buy Me a Coffee got turned off, and nothing much happens on there, so I just totally missed it. So fucking W's in the chat. This is how we're gonna get the viewership back up. W's in the chat for fucking Mike, because he sent me $100, I ignored it, and then 2 days later he sent me another $100. So fucking Mike is odd. He didn't even put a message. He didn't give a fuck. He was just like, here's here's 2 bills. So thank you to Mike for that. Buy Me a Coffee is an option. I will try to be better about watching the notifications on there, because I fucking miss them sometimes. Gotta work all that stuff out. My phone's getting very busy these days. So W's in the chat for Mike for funding the show, because this is my full-time job, as I like to mention from time to time. All right, we got plenty of time. We got an hour 15. Let's get these numbers back up. Let's talk to McFly after I remind everybody about that link tree where you can go find that Buy Me a Coffee and stuff. Follow me on the other pages. Watch the show after the fact on YouTube in VOD form, podcast form. Working on audio only for Spotify. That's in the works. Sorry, everybody who's asking for it. McFly, how old are you?
43.
43. Do you support Trump?
Of course.
Why?
For many reasons. But let's talk about Iran. That seems to be the theme today.
Okay. I think this might be an Iran episode. Why do you like Iran? Or why do you like Trump's performance on Iran?
Because Iran shouldn't have a nuclear weapon.
Okay, then why did Trump back out of the JCPOA, which Obama had brokered, that prevented them from building nuclear weapons?
Because it was sunsetted, right?
Yes, most things that most politicians do are sunsetted, and when we make negotiations with terrorists, it's unlikely for us to get them to agree to the things that we want forever, so we do have to take it some set of time at a time, but the Iran nuclear deal that we had, I think, was better, and if they had followed it and kept to it during that time, by the time that it sunsetted, they might think, you know what, it's awfully nice not being in military conflict with the United States, maybe we should broker another agreement because Iran is doing so well, people are being so much more prosperous, there's so much less war and death and destruction here. People are going to school and learning, and our women are being treated better. Maybe we do it again. That's kind of how progress happens on the global stage, and we were on that track. Why do you think it's good that we are no longer on that track?
Okay, so what was one major thing left out of the JCPOA, in your opinion?
Preventing them from building preventing them from building ballistic missiles. They still had an active ballistic missiles program during the JCPOA. I wish we'd gotten that in the negotiation. We didn't.
That was a huge point. Okay, so they were able to develop their ballistic missile capabilities, right? Because we weren't able to get it into the deal. Mm-hmm. So they went whole hog basically on the Shihad drones, right, and their ballistic missiles, and they built up their surplus to the levels they had, obviously, right? So with it being sunsetted, right, at, what was it, 2025, I believe?
2030.
23? Okay.
2030.
So,
no, in the future. 2030, 4 years from now.
Okay, so if it ran through there, and they were able to continue building their ballistic missile shield, right, during that time.
I'm sorry, we don't use ballistic missiles for defense. Are you suggesting that they were building an Iron Dome out of ballistic missiles? That's nonsense.
No, they weren't building an Iron Dome. They were building offensive capability.
Okay.
To reach out and...
All right, I just wanted to clarify, because that's not what you said a second ago, or I misheard you. But now, okay, yes, so they're offensive capability. Yes, we agree. Ballistic missiles are offensive.
Yeah, 100%.
Where are we going? Yeah, where are we going with this?
At 20, so they build up, let's say 200,000 ballistic missiles, okay?
200,000 ballistic missiles? That's a large number of ballistic missiles. That's probably more ballistic missiles than there are on planet Earth. Where did that number come from?
It's a hypothetical, dude. So, okay 100.
I can do a hypothetical, but I'm not explain the hypothetical.
If we stayed in the JCPOA.
Oh, by the way, sorry for interrupting again, but the chat is reminding me what you said. You said shield. You said ballistic missile shield, which is why I thought we were talking about defensive stuff. I think I caught you in being wrong about something, and you backpedaled when I brought it up. I think that's what happened. I don't think we did agree. I'm glad we agree now.
But regardless, ballistic missiles.
Not regardless. That's why I pointed it out. I didn't want to not regard it. That's why I made regards about it. I regarded what that thing happened a moment ago. Sorry. Continue.
Move on now. Anyways, so we stay in the JCPOA until 2030. They continue building their ballistic missiles, right? They get up to 100,000. Is that a fair number for you?
No.
Okay, how many do you think? Pick a number for me.
1,000.
1,000? Are you kidding? They shot 300 in the first night of the war.
Okay, 10,000. I just think 100... Wait, hold on. No. Ballistic missiles? No. They didn't use 300 ballistic... I don't think you know what ballistic missiles are.
Okay.
Ballistic missiles are pretty high caliber type of missiles. Like, it'd be as though we were talking about ammunition, and then you're confusing 50 caliber rounds with, like 22s, which I'm probably about to get banned on TikTok for saying, because we're not supposed to recognize the existence of firearms. But again, ballistic missiles are not. I think you just see a missile and you think, oh, that's a ballistic missile. What is, when we're talking about missiles, what does the word ballistic mean?
Well, it can be multiple stage.
No,
usually.
it has a very specific meaning that anybody who'd taken high school physics would understand, because it's a physics term. What does the word ballistic mean?
What are they? Suborbital? Is that the word you're looking for?
Well, there's this thing about suborbital missiles, which is that suborbital specifically means that they're moving slower than the orbit speed, which is like a rotation every 90 minutes. These are related topics. I'm asking you if you know the definition of the word ballistic.
Okay, it goes to outer space.
Ballistic missiles are a type of missile that do go to outer space, but it's not going to outer space that makes them ballistic. It's actually going to outer space that allows them to be ballistic, but that's not what being ballistic is. Ballistic is a different property that has a specific meaning, that for something like a large object like a missile that experiences a lot of wind resistance, we have to do it in outer space in order to achieve a ballistic flight characteristic. What does the word ballistic mean, though?
I don't know, enlighten me. So we can move on.
Ballistic means flying in a parabolic arc under its own momentum, being brought down by gravity, roughly. Somebody can dictionary check that. Specifically, missiles that do that travel obscenely long distances. You go up into space you go up above the atmosphere where there isn't as much wind resistance, and you get up to an incredible speed, and then you basically do a little mini orbit, but you're not going quite fast enough to miss the Earth on the way back down. That would be orbital. So it's suborbital. So it goes up and crashes back down, and that arc is enormous, thousands of miles. Ballistic missiles are what's used to deliver nuclear weapons to faraway countries, which is why it's very upsetting to me that they maintain that program under the JCPOA. I wish we'd gotten that in the negotiation. But the idea that they used 300 ballistic missiles, correct me if I'm wrong, if this happened and I don't know about it, I'm willing to take the L on this one. But because I understand what ballistic missiles are, I find it ridiculously unlikely that Iran has used any of them in the current conflict. Certainly not 300 of them on the first day of the war. You're probably talking about smaller defensive missiles, which a number like 100,000 might actually be kind of reasonable for, because they're not as expensive to manufacture. Ballistic missiles are enormous. Each one of them costs millions and millions and millions of dollars. They're basically spaceships. They're spaceships that deliver weapons.
Okay, so they get to fucking build their missiles until 2030, right? The JCPOA.
Do you recognize that you were completely wrong about ballistic missiles and you didn't understand what they were?
Sure.
Let's see. Hold on. I'm getting fact checked. Completed in missile inventories. Yeah, well, I know both sides have used lots of missiles, but Discord, let me know if any ballistic missiles were used. I don't think that's right, based on what I know about... See, this is the interesting thing about understanding these things. I'm not regurgitating talking points to you, I'm just educated on what ballistic missiles are. So when you give me some bullshit like Iran used 300 of them, I think that doesn't sound right, because I know about ballistic missiles.
Yeah, you seem like you do.
I could be wrong. Hold on. I think it's more broad than I might take the L on this. We've got somebody on my Discord saying that they used 500 ballistic missiles in the first 4 days. I think it's more broad of a category than you might be thinking. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about the label here. Maybe there are smaller ballistic missiles. Sure, but specifically, I will say, the ballistic missiles that they were still building that I'm upset about are the ones that are used to deliver nuclear weapons. I'm not actually all that upset about them having defensive missiles. If I'm wrong that some of these smaller ones are ballistic, then I'll take the big fat L and I'll wear the egg on my face. I don't think it makes me wrong about the war in Iran.
I don't care if you take the L or whatever. I just want to get to the point.
Okay, sure, but just to be clear, like a bullet is ballistic. A bullet functions in a ballistic way.
Ballistics is a very broad term.
It's a physics term. It refers to something carrying its own momentum and flying in a parabolic arc under gravity. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so JCPOA, we stayed in it till 2030, right? They continue building their ballistic missile program. Obviously getting further, because the goal of ballistics is to get as far as you can. Right?
Yeah. And again, I'm taking the live fact check here, and I think maybe what I'm missing is, of course, intercontinental ballistic missiles are ones capable of going far enough. Maybe the classification of ballistic missiles includes some smaller ones that I'm not aware of. But so, yeah. Sorry. Continue your point.
Anyway, so we get to 2030. They've built their ballistic missiles. They got, we'll say 50,000. Is that a fair number?
Sorry, say the number again?
50,000.
I don't know if that's a fair number, because if it's broader than I thought and it includes smaller weapons, like that, to me, that number's not meaningful. If some of those can reach faraway nations and some can't, like I need to understand the difference.
What about 25,000?
I'm gonna give the same answer if I don't have the bake rack. Like the number you give me doesn't matter, because I care whether or not we're talking about intercontinental ballistic missiles or some smaller defensive capabilities.
Okay. We'll just say they have a lot of missiles, okay? So 2030 comes along, they've built up their ballistic missiles, and now they're free and clear of the JCPOA. So what do you think they would do?
Well, yeah, I'm worried that they're going to develop nuclear weapons and put them on the ballistic missiles, but that's Trump's fault, because he's the one who canceled the JCPOA.
Yeah, but they would do it anyways. In 2030 is the point. That's the whole point of what Trump was.
But I brought up, but why should we get them started earlier? Like 2030 would still be better than now.
Yeah, but that's why we had the war, is to fucking knock them back to basically square one.
No, but I said, I don't even remember if it was you or the previous caller, because every caller's been the same today. Sorry, but like, we could have negotiated another deal and kicked the can farther down the road, and maybe Iran became more prosperous and more progressive over the course of the next 100 years, and they just gave up on nuclear weapons and never did it. That was an option. Why is it good for it to end sooner than it otherwise would have? We gave them something like 10 more years to build nuclear weapons. Like, why is that a good thing? I don't understand.
Answer me this, would you?
What? Are you going to answer what I just said?
Sorry, go ahead. Repeat what you said.
You weren't listening. Okay, why? If you're upset about it ending in 2030, I addressed already during this episode of my show that we could still renegotiate with them if they were happy with the deal, if it was going well for them. We're not going to find out if that's what was going to happen. Why is it good for it to end sooner? Why is it good for it to be over 10 years sooner, to give them 10 more years to build nuclear weapons? I don't understand why that's better.
The less missiles they would build if we end it earlier, because you even said yourself that you wish the missile program was it should have been connected. You can't build missiles and you can't make nukes. You yourself have said that the missiles should have been in the agreement. So ending the agreement earlier, it was to stop them from building more missiles by putting sanctions on and shit like that.
Okay, that claim actually, I still think that that's wrong, but it does make sense what you just said. You're suggesting that because we couldn't attack them during the JCPOA, it was good to cancel it so that we could attack them, because that stopped the ballistic missiles, because you were so worried about the ballistic missiles.
We didn't attack them. When we didn't attack them at all during, well, we killed Soleimani in Iraq, yes, but we didn't attack Iran.
I now understand your position, but what I'm going to argue is that while I did get the labeling right, I'm accepting the L on ballistic missiles. I was not aware that smaller ones were labeled in that way, because they used a lot of short-range and medium-range ballistic missiles. W Discord for live fact-checking me. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Lady of Azrael. Anyway, but the long-range ones that are a danger to us here in America are not the ones that we're talking about. Do you recognize that?
Well, they don't have any that can reach America. That's what we were trying to stop.
And they are working on them, and that's bad. But I just don't understand.
The war to stop them from being able to ever put a nuke on a ballistic missile that could reach the United States. So my next question to you...
Given that we were unable to stop them from making ballistic missiles, isn't it just better that we stop them from making nukes? Because they could send ballistic missiles without nukes on them. They could put more conventional warheads on them. But again, there's still that mutually assured destruction that if Iran did that, if they sent a ballistic missile overseas, like, they'd get wiped off the face of the planet. NATO, if they used a ballistic missile for anything against us, NATO would wipe them off the face of the earth. But that's no longer the case because we've instigated an attack against them. So we've lost the protections of Article 5 in NATO, which means that pretty much all of Europe would have been obligated to defend us if Iran used those ballistic missiles for anything. You don't understand international diplomacy. There's a bunch of treaties and existing agreements that make it very dangerous for Iran to do these sorts of things. Trump is ignoring that and declaring them a big threat and starting a war that he wants to start. When not, like, the arguments you're making about this are ignoring big pieces of international diplomacy that protect us from this sort of terror. Are you familiar with NATO? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what Article 5 is?
Yeah, I'm quite familiar with NATO.
Then why is Article 5 under the NATO agreement with all those NATO countries, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, why is that not a good enough protection to stop Iran from doing something that stupid? We've given them permission to do something like that because now we're in an active conflict with them that we started, so NATO can't protect us. NATO's not obligated to protect us.
Did NATO stop bin Laden from attacking us out of Afghanistan?
The only time in, like, your or mine living, well, you're too young. The only time in my living memory where Article 5 of NATO has been triggered was by 9/11. Yes, is the answer to your question. They did help us with that. Servicemen from other countries died for Americans after 9/11 because it triggered Article 5 of NATO.
He was in Iraq, so I know. I lost friends there fighting.
Okay.
So yeah.
But yes, they did a bad thing. Dude, my dad was like, you brought up your own personal connection. You lost friends. My dad worked in Tower 2 and I have asthma from 9/11. I grew up in New York. Like, I'm a 9/11 victim. So we're talking about something that happened to me and my family.
This sucks.
Yes, and it's exciting that we have a North Atlantic Treaty Organization where if such a thing happens, a big chunk of the Western world comes to our defense. That's great. The wars were still pretty bad. We learned that that's not really a good approach to these situations, and I'm saying we shouldn't use the same approach here.
No, we didn't. Did we invade Iraq and take out the government?
I mean, we handled it differently. What's your point?
Well, I was in Iraq. I saw how we handled that, right? Okay. It was completely wrong. We went in and wiped out the entire government all the way down to the town councils. Like, we totally destroyed the government and it turned into a free-for-all. We didn't do that in Iran. We took out the top leadership and we said, all right, now we're going to talk to the next guy in line.
We're giving them $300 billion to rebuild. Are you going to suggest to me that we didn't do something like that? We also did kill their leadership.
Yeah, I know we did. We took out the top layer of the leadership that would not negotiate, and we basically killed them until we got somebody that would negotiate. And now we're negotiating with them in Switzerland.
Are you talking about the new leader of Iran?
The son you're referring? No, I'm talking about the president of Iran, and yes, the mullah, obviously.
I don't understand the argument you're making.
Well, you asked me about NATO and how. Right.
NATO. You were concerned about Iran's ballistic missiles. I took the L because I was confidently incorrect about the labeling of missiles. Sorry, everybody. It happens sometimes. I wear the egg on my face with honor. It's something I have to do while I sit in this chair. You're concerned about Iran being a threat. I'm bringing up that NATO is there to protect us, was there to protect us. The JCPOA was there to protect us. Neither of those things are there to protect us anymore. The biggest protections we had against Iran are gone because of Trump.
Well,
how are you defending him on it? That's what I'm not understanding.
Iran is no longer the threat. That's why.
You don't think that Iran, with $300 billion to rebuild and a bunch of people angry that we may have killed their family members in a school that we bombed, you don't think they're a threat?
You know how many people did we kill? Kids did we kill in Iraq?
That doesn't answer my question.
It happens in war. It's shitty, but it is part of war.
Doesn't answer my question.
How many fucking people has Russia
killed? I'm not saying that death isn't going to happen in the world. I'm not saying that the solutions to these international conflicts don't necessarily involve some casualties. I'm not arguing that. I'm arguing, how do you think that Trump made the situation better when he made it so much worse?
Because Iran no longer has a ballistic missile program. Their nuclear program is under a mountain, and their navy's at the bottom of the ocean, and they no longer have an air force.
But we gave them $300 billion to rebuild a bunch of that.
the Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states are giving them money, and then
we brokered a deal where the Gulf states are giving them $300 billion. Yes, I recognize it's coming from them. How is Iran if we're going to talk about the danger that they're going to be 10 or 20 years from now, how are they I see them as in a much better position than they were before the war because of this money. Why do you care where the money came from if that's my argument?
Okay, so what did we do after we nuked Japan?
Answer my question.
Ended World War II. We signed a 50-year treaty with them, right?
Answer my question.
That after we bomb them, we have to if they give up their nuclear program and quit developing ballistic missiles, I'm fine with it. And the Gulf states want to give them their money, go ahead. Have at it.
The Gulf states didn't want any of this. The Gulf states are mad at us. People have died in the Gulf states. They've lost infrastructure. Now they're losing money. This is an L for the Gulf states. This is L for the world. We lost this war is my position. What is your counter argument?
That we won it.
How? What did we win? What did we get?
Their nuclear program is at the bottom of the fucking mountain.
The nuclear program was canceled by Obama, and then Trump let them restart it, waited 5 years until it was sensible to claim that they developed some nuclear weapons and went to war. Why did he do that? Very bad.
To stop their ballistic missiles, because we couldn't fucking... You
right. The thing that protected us from their ballistic missiles, I've already answered this. The thing that protected us from their ballistic missiles of all kinds is Article 5 of NATO.
A piece of paper doesn't protect you from a missile.
The military of all of the NATO or NATO agreed countries do. That's not a piece of paper. That's men. That's people who died defending us after 9/11. We talked about that a moment ago. You know that. You're being disingenuous. You're trying to hide from the point by responding to what I just said, ignoring everything that's happened in this conversation. But in a conversation, you're supposed to consider all the things that have been said and conceded along the way. And I think you're smarter than that. I think that you can think instead of about the last 15 seconds like a goldfish, about the last 5 minutes like a human being, and recognize that you don't have a way out of the corner I've put you in.
You haven't put me in any corner, but sure.
You can declare that.
You don't have to be derogatory, man.
I'm sorry, is the word corner derogatory?
Oh, 15 second of a goldfish. Come on now. You're smarter than that.
If you don't want me to accuse you of being a goldfish, stop acting like one.
In what way?
Okay. Sure. We won the war in Iran because their missile program is kaput and their nuclear program is at the bottom of a mountain.
You just said that a moment ago, and I responded by saying that we had already canceled their nuclear program with Obama's JCPOA, which Trump threw away. That's Trump's fault. And we also had protections against them using ballistic missiles because of NATO, because there's mutually assured destruction there, even though nuclear weapons aren't involved. We have protections against North Korea because even though they have nukes, North Korea literally has nukes, but they don't use them because if they do, we're going to wipe them off the face of the planet. NATO would help us wipe them off the face of the planet. We have that protection in North Korea, but you're not talking about invading North Korea because you probably recognize that we have that protection. We had, past tense, that protection from Iran, and we threw it away because NATO does not come to your defense if you are the instigator, and we are the instigator in this conflict. Answer that.
What's the question? Like, answer what? That why NATO won't...
You're asserting that we won the war when all we did is give them back their nuclear program to use it as an excuse to go to war with them, went to war with them, cost a bunch of money, cost a bunch of lives, fucked up global stability, fucked up global gas prices, fucked up inflation. What did we win?
Listen.
What?
That's what we got out of it, because there was no, like you even agreed to, there was no missile protection in the JCPOA. They were allowed to just...
There is in NATO for the reason that I just for the fourth time in a row described. Here, let's zoom in on that. Do you recognize that we have protections from countries that have ballistic missiles? Let's forget Iran, forget everything about Iran and fine dining and breathing, and let's just talk about the fact that if an entity has ballistic missiles, we are protected by them, from them, by the concept of mutually assured destruction, even though there are no nukes involved, because anybody who fires a ballistic missile at like U.S. servicemen or at U.S. soil is somebody who's going to face the wrath of the entire Western Hemisphere, most of the Western Hemisphere, the big militaries in the Western Hemisphere, because of the NATO agreement. Do you recognize that? Yes or no?
Oh, I agree with the NATO 5 or Article 5 or whatever of NATO, yes. if we are
Okay.
attacked, everybody in NATO is attacked.
So we had protection from their ballistic missiles. True or false?
On paper, yes.
It's not paper. We're talking about the militaries of the NATO countries. Servicemen
Yes.
who died defending us after 9/11 is what we're talking about. I'm not talking, it's all paper, right? Like everything is paper until the bullets fly, right? Like how is that a defense to what I'm saying?
I'm agreeing with you that on paper, yes, we have that protection. But it does.
Do countries generally attack the United States that want to? Because North Korea wants us all dead. They hate us. Why aren't they attacking us?
did too, though?
What?
That's the thing. They're not obligated by Article 5. It's just an agreement that yes, if you are attacked, we will come to your aid.
The NATO organizations are obligated to come to our defense under Article 5. That is an obligation. That's the whole point of the organization. And we have used it before. It was triggered after 9/11, and they helped us in the wars in the Middle East. You agreed with me those wars were mismanaged. But we did have the might. We did have the force offered to us by NATO. You're just ignoring the fact that we had that protection from Iran, but we threw it away because Trump started a conflict with them.
We started a conflict with Iran. Okay, hold on. I'm fucking getting distracted here. Sorry.
Yeah, I know you're digging deep trying to find this on your script, but it's not there because your script is wrong.
Article 5 is on paper. They say they will come to our defense if we are attacked, or we will go.
It's not on paper, dude. It happened this millennium. It's the only time Article 5 has ever been triggered. I wasn't certain about this earlier, but the chat confirmed it for me. It's not just living memory. It's ever. The only time it's ever been triggered is to come to our defense. It works. We do it. No more Americans on American soil died after 9/11. Somebody poked the bear. We're the bear. The bear got all our bear buddies that we agreed in the NATO Treaty Organization, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, to fight together. We all went and fought that war overseas. And yes, some servicemen died, lots of civilians died. It was terrible. It was a mess. But we did protect civilians. And if your concern is Iran using ballistic missiles against civilians, that would be a silly thing to do for the reasons I've been sitting here trying to explain to you for 20 minutes. I'm just not understanding, dude. Like, what did we win in the war? That's the question we're circling around. What did we get that we didn't already have?
Well, okay, answer this question for me. What value or cost is acceptable to you for a nuke to be dropped on New York City?
You're asking me what cost I would accept for most of my family to die.
We just didn't do shit with Iran, right? And we just let the JCPOA run. It goes out. They don't renegotiate, blah, blah, blah. And they get their nuke because you know that.
No. You're moving the goalposts of this argument because they don't have nukes. They don't have nukes because of the JCPOA. Maybe they would have by now if Obama hadn't brokered the JCPOA, but Trump didn't give them enough time when he canceled it in the first place. I'm asking what we got in this war, and you're trying to fearmonger me into caring about Iran because you recognize I'm connected to 9/11 now, and you want me to imagine my family dying, so I agree with you. Come on, dude. I'm smarter than that.
No, the threat of Iran was them nuking us. Right?
That is a threat. We're playing whack-a-mole with the different points that we're talking about because that is a threat that Obama got rid of with the JCPOA. Trump created the nuclear threat that was Iran.
No, they've been trying to develop a nuke since before Obama.
Yes, and that was before Obama, and then Obama stopped them, and then Trump let them do it again.
Under the sunset, they could have developed continued their nuclear.
I already answered that. You're doing dude. You're being a goldfish. We already answered that. Thank you so much, Jazz, for gifting somebody a membership on YouTube. I really appreciate that. You're being a goldfish. We've already answered the fact that it was going to sunset and that there was a chance that we just got to redo it because it was going well. That tends to be how negotiations work. If you think that we're going to get a negotiation in perpetuity with a country, that's fucking nonsense. You don't understand anything about diplomacy. You'd probably be terrible at it if you were at the table to negotiate. You're not recognizing that, and I've responded to every single one of these rebuttals already multiple times, not just on this call with you, but with other people who called in before you today. This is the Iran episode. Give me a new argument for how we won the war.
We won the war because their nuclear program. Do you accept the fact that their nuclear program is at the bottom of a mountain?
No.
Buried?
No.
No, you don't think it is.
Oh no, I don't have clairvoyance about that. Even the Trump administration has admitted that they weren't able to do good battle damage assessment after we bombed those mountains last year or the strikes that we used at the beginning of the war. No, we don't have clarity on that. We would have had clarity on what was in those mountains if the JCPOA was still in place, because 2030, when it would have sunsetted, is 4 years in the future, and we would have been allowed to bring inspectors into those facilities if Trump hadn't thrown it away.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So anyways, you don't accept the fact that the nuclear program is at the bottom. Do you accept their Navy was sunk?
Again, you're just like, it's like I'm trying to stab a ball bearing with a butter knife. Like, every time I hit it, it just pings to somewhere else. Is this a fucking game of ping ball or a conversation? I already answered that. Do you remember what my answer was?
Yeah, they're at the bottom of the ocean.
We destroyed a bunch of their boats, but that is really canceled out for me by the fact that we're giving them $300 billion. That was my answer.
We don't know what...
Kick or keep chat. We've gone in the circle 4 or 5 times already. Let me know, everybody. Thank you, David, for the $5 on Venmo. Really appreciate that. He says fish food for the goldfish.
Do you accept that the IRGC hates America?
I don't accept that what you just said demonstrates to anybody that you have anything other than the mind of a goldfish. Try again.
Okay. What do you want?
I want a direct response to some of the things that I said. Michael sent me $2 to say, for that guest makes me miss septic salad. You are a lot like septic salad.
I said, you want an answer to how we won the war?
Yes.
I gave you my reasons. Just because you don't accept them doesn't mean they're not
I've
true.
responded to all of them clearly, and you have not responded to the things that I've said about them. Instead of responding to my rebuttals, you just moved to a different one of them. And because you have a half dozen bad arguments for why we won the war, every time I give you a clear and concise rebuttal to one of them, you just mention a different one of them, even if it's one that I've already rebutted. And even when you do that, you do not go and address the rebuttal I gave you. That's why the chat wants you gone. Do you have anything to say for yourself before I kick you?
Sure, go ahead and kick me. I mean, that's all you do is you go on these tears, and then when the person doesn't agree with you or whatever, you kick them. What have I disagreed on? What have I not? What point you asked how Iran, we won the war in Iran. I gave you my reasons. You tried to rebut them. That's your opinion. I believe the Navy sunk, which is a win. Their Air Force is on the ground. That's a win.
$300 billion.
Is down. And the bottom of a map.
Yeah, I responded to all that. $300 billion. Goodbye, dude. Thank you, Jazz, for the $10 on YouTube Super Chat. He said Taco said their nuclear program was obliterated by Midnight Hammer. Less than a year later, he said nuclear programs were why we attacked. Make it make sense. Yeah, we've covered that all before. There was enough time between when he got rid of the JCPOA and his current term for him to say that they were developing nuclear weapons. There was not enough time between when he said last year that we obliterated their nuclear weapon program to say that now it's a threat again. Nonsense. 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 Ugh. If you enjoyed the show, even when I'm wrong sometimes, because I was pretty wrong about ballistic missiles today. But, you know, if you like what I'm doing up here, you can go to the link tree in my bio and follow me on the platforms. That doesn't cost you a dime, and it really helps out. You can click, if you're watching on TikTok, by the way, you should click this down here, this Oskar Quentin 2 thing. That's going to be the backup account when we get this one banned for, you know, whatever type of nonsense gets you banned on here. If that happens, I want to still be able to do the show. So make sure you're following Oskar Quentin 2 down there, or go to the link tree in my bio and follow all the platforms. That helps a lot. And like I said, it doesn't cost a dime. If you got a dime you want to spare, you can send it to my Venmo, Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, or Patreon, so I can pay my bills. Let's talk to... Is McFly back on a different account? No. All right. We're talking to 18-year-olds today. Thank you for the bouquet. I really appreciate you, Vaza, so much. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the gifts, everybody. Thanks for all the engagement. Thanks for all the new followers on TikTok. It's crazy. This week's crazy. Dean has made me have a very exciting week. So
Yo, what's up, Oskar? How you doing, bro?
Doing all right. Been a little while, Keemokazi. Do you think we're going to have a productive conversation, by the way? You're 18, by the way. This is a frequent caller who I know the age
Hey,
of. So.
I want to ask you about a case real quick. Do you know about the Carmelo Anthony case?
I do.
Well, how do you feel about that? You want to talk about that?
I think that when we look at if we look at self-defense cases in America, there's a really serious racism problem. I think that white people are way more likely to get away with self-defense cases, and black people are not as likely to get away with them, and that's an enormous problem. I think that a 17-year-old bringing a knife to school is a pretty irresponsible thing to do. I don't like the way self-defense laws work in Texas. I think it's real muddy when it's a minor, so I've got some real twisted feelings about it. I think
do you think he should be guilty or no?
I think he should. This is controversial. It's a very unpopular opinion of mine that I have. I do think he should be guilty of something, but he's a juvenile. I don't think he should go to prison for 35 years. That doesn't make sense to me at all.
I think he should have gotten more time, so we disagree there. Okay,
yeah, I don't think so at all. I think that Keemokazi, I know you pretty well. I think you're capable of making some pretty serious mistakes. And I don't. Yeah, I don't. Why do you think he belongs in prison for so long? That's absurd.
Let's do a hypothetical, okay? Say me and you were in high school together, okay? And I was Austin Metcalf, or no, I was Carmelo Anthony. You're Austin Metcalf. Okay.
Oh wait, hold on. I do want to respond to something because it has been pointed out to me since the last time I talked about this. There was a detail I didn't know, which is that like it wasn't like he was carrying like a big Bowie knife or something, which isn't what I was picturing. I'm a person who used to carry a Leatherman multi-tool, which has a blade on it, but I don't anymore, so that ice doesn't murder me. So I recognize that it's like maybe reasonable for him to have it. So I guess I'll recant what I said a moment ago because I'd forgotten that detail.
Yeah,
taking it out in a fight is a grossly irresponsible thing to do. If you take a knife out in a fist fight, you're creating a knife fight. Is something that I think about as a person who's carried a knife since I was that age. My dad taught me to, like, you know, if somebody shoves you, my dad taught me that if somebody shoves you, don't take that Leatherman off your belt because you're gonna make it worse.
You don't be pussy and stab someone. That's pussy.
I don't think it matters whether it's pussy. Like, that's not what it's about. I believe in self-defense. I believe that
telling you to leave many times, then you should just leave instead of pulling out a knife and stabbing someone in the heart, right?
We didn't see exactly how it went. There's always that little bit of benefit of the doubt when there isn't good footage of what happened. It's really similar to the Zimmerman case. I think Zimmerman has made a very clear case since his acquittal that he's a monster and he probably deserves to be in prison. But I just wish there was footage of the altercation. What?
During when it talked, whenever everyone calls them and then the police are talking to the people that witnessed it, they literally said exactly what happened.
Yeah, there's still a lot of doubt there for me. There's still a lot of doubt when we're at a sporting event at high school where people are going to have their allegiances to their school and to their team and to their friends. So I really don't trust witness testimony that much, especially under such circumstances. So the case has benefit of the doubt for me. That's really all it is. Like I can't give you a super firm decision about what I think exactly happened because we just don't have video of it.
That's a criminal, dude. He should get more time. He murdered someone. You should go to jail for life in prison, bro. If you murder somebody, you should go to jail, life in prison. Come on. You should know this, bro.
I mean, I think that, like...
For the reason. Like, Austin Metcalf wasn't going to do anything to him. He just told him to leave 100 times. And
wait, let's just bring up something that I very specifically just said. Do you recognize that there isn't video of the altercation? We don't know with certainty what happened.
Okay, so what do you think happened?
Just demonstrate to me that you know that that's the case. That's like yes or no. We don't have footage of what happened.
Austin Metcalf didn't die. This is just made up, bro.
No. See, this is why I'm asking you. This is why I'm insisting you give me such a specific yes or no. Is there footage of the event? Yes or no?
I mean, why would someone be recording someone telling someone to leave?
See, again, Keemokazi, like, I want to talk to you about this. And, like, my position on it's a little controversial. Like, my chat's erupting with people who are upset with me because I think this way about it. That's fine. But can we just not navigate such a difficult conversation in such a nonsensical way? Can we just assess what we actually agree on about this? Yes or no, there isn't clear footage of the altercation.
Yeah, no shit, bro. No one was recording at the time.
Okay, and I agree that it doesn't mean it didn't happen. There's plenty of cases that I'm really confident about in spite of a lack of video evidence. The E. Jean Carroll case is a good example of that. I'd like not to go down that rabbit hole, though. I would just like to point out that it is difficult.
She's a liar. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're not going to do that again. Yeah, I think that it's hard to say exactly that we know what happened. When I look at a physical altercation, I judge...
Agree with me that he should have gotten more time and we can move on to something else.
I don't. I think he should have gotten... Even if I think he was guilty of murder, which I leave benefit of the doubt on, I don't think he really was. I still just think if he did do something...
What are you talking about?
Here's what I'm going to say.
Okay, so then how about this?
No, let me answer. If there was footage, if somebody said, oh my God, it has come out that there is footage of the altercation, I would look at the footage immediately, but I'd go in thinking, I bet that what I think I'm going to see is behavior that I can judge. I think I'm going to say, young man, that was irresponsible. You shouldn't have done that. I think I'd probably not think that he deserves to be in prison for 35 years watching it, but we just don't know. I am going to bring Law of the Wild up because I'm not a lawyer and I'm super not educated on the self-defense laws in Texas. How you doing, Law of the Wild?
Hello.
All right, hold on. So you think the young men that were there witnessing this happen, all the adrenaline rushing, they're able to switch up everything that happened and tell the police officers lies?
I think you're imagining a very clear picture of the altercation that you don't have, and I'm just unwilling to do that.
I'm not though. I'm just saying what happened. I'm just saying what would have been going through their minds, right? If they see their friend die. Like, they're gonna tell them what happens, like, right?
No, I don't think that's reasonable at all.
Immediately scramble through their mind to make up random stuff, dude. That's insane.
They might, yeah. People are dishonest about what happened in an altercation all the time.
Okay, like in what circumstance, bro?
I was involved in the Savannah Hernandez altercation that happened at the Whipple Federal Building in Minneapolis on April 11th. There were numerous accounts given by people in the media immediately after it happened. I even was wrong about the circumstances of the altercation, and I was the person who produced the clearest, most obvious footage of the entire thing. I changed my mind about what I thought I saw after reviewing my own footage that I'd taken.
Okay. I don't even know what case you're talking about, but sure.
Yes, I'm just pointing out to you that what you said doesn't happen is something that has happened to me.
I want to go back to something you said.
And there's evidence of that on my social media. I gave the date and location of it. You can scroll on my Instagram and find the footage. So do you recognize...
How is it racially... You said racially motivated? Is that what
I didn't say... I don't think I said the word... I mean, I said that if we look at the way self-defense cases go in America, it's obvious that there's some institutionalized racism afoot because it's unfair the degree to which white people get away with it when black people don't.
So you think it was racially motivated, right?
What was racially motivated?
The Carmelo Anthony case.
The crime, the death that happened, or the conviction?
The conviction.
I think that the conviction and the sentencing were racially motivated, yes.
Okay, no.
I think it's a failure of the justice system that there weren't any black jurors.
Just because it was an all-white court?
As I understand, it wasn't an all-white jury. There were some non-white jury members, but I think the detail that people are conflating to say that is that there were no black jurors, which I do think is a demonstration that there was some miscarriage of justice in his case. Absolutely.
You know what? And the fact that the prosecution used 3 of their preemptory strikes on black jurors. But so, Keemokazi, let me ask you a question. There's a case that involved a high school teen in a bathroom. He was confronted by 3 people in a bathroom and poked one of the kids 4 times. And he was charged with murder. What should his conviction have been, and what should his sentence have been?
Wait, re-say that?
2022.
Okay, and what happened?
He was confronted in a bathroom. He took out a knife, poked one of the kids 4 times. What should his conviction have been, and what should his sentence have been?
What were the 3 dudes doing? What were they?
They confronted him in a bathroom. There had been no physical contact.
Like what were they confronting him about?
Why does it matter what the reason they confronted him with? We're focusing on the fact that he poked one of the kids 4 times and then was charged.
Yep, deserves life. He should have been charged. He shouldn't have had a knife on school grounds.
And the jury did not find a self-defense in his case. So they disproved self-defense, and they convicted him. What should his conviction have been, and what should his sentence have been?
Guilty.
Guilty of what?
Murder.
And what should his sentence have been?
Life in prison.
All right. He was convicted of voluntary manslaughter and got 10 years. Guess what color his skin was?
What, white? Black?
He was white in Texas 2 years prior to this. Same state, same laws, more aggressive use of force, and he got a lower charge and a lower sentence.
Okay. Your point is?
That's the disparities in sentencing that Oscar's talking about. He's not talking about the event being racially motivated. It could have been. We don't have sufficient evidence to prove that. Yeah. But there is a disparity in sentencing for the same charge.
So then why don't y'all agree with me? Both of them should have got life sentences. Because I said both should deserve life sentences. Doesn't matter.
Wait. I'll answer that here. I think that I don't agree that every person who commits what the state calls a capital first-degree murder should go to prison forever, because we can give somebody a capital murder charge for robbing a bank when they're 19 and accidentally pulling the trigger. And that's a person who I think when they're 40 years old, maybe should just be allowed to work at a landscaping business or something. I don't think that person, if they get their life in order and if they perform well in prison, if they do their programs, if they get their therapy, if like I think a person who's that young, you're that young. I hope that if you make a mistake, you get to live a life sometime down the road. I don't think it's good for society for us to lock people up forever, especially when we're on this borderline where we call people under 18, minors who are allowed to make stupid, irresponsible decisions, and people who are older are supposed to be held accountable for their decisions. That's very different than if you take a girl home from the bar and violently murder her in your bed with an axe. That's very, very different. Okay, that person should go to prison forever. The person who accidentally pulled the trigger while robbing a bank when they're 18 who gets the same charge probably shouldn't go to prison forever in my book.
Hold on. I used to literally have beef with so many dudes. Like, I would have dudes like every day surrounding me, bro. Never once did I pull a knife out and stab them. You know what? I fought back because I'm not a pussy. I don't pull out a knife and stab someone.
Didn't respond to anything that I just said. You're really stuck on this claim that if anybody commits a murder, they should go. No, I'm going to insist that you answer what I just said, which is that you're teacup dude. Like, what are you going to Google? The issue I have is that you're saying that anybody who commits a murder should go to prison forever, life sentence, and I actually don't think that's reasonable because I don't think that all murders are created equal.
Dude. Mm-hmm. You don't bring a knife to a school event that you weren't even supposed to be at. You're getting told to leave nicely many times. You don't leave, so then they confront you and tell you to leave, please. And then he finally pushes him.
See, Keemokazi, this is the problem. This is the problem. We need to address this one point at a time. And when I brought up a very specific point about how I feel about murder cases generally, you just regurgitated your entire position on the Carmelo Anthony case. Why did you do that?
Because I can.
Yeah, you can, but it's a silly thing to do, and it doesn't help you in the conversation. Certainly doesn't make a good show.
It does help me because I'm trying to get it in that little brain of yours to understand.
Okay, so can we come to an equal understanding about murder cases? Like, I gave a counter argument for the claim that every person who commits a murder should go to prison forever. I don't think that that's necessarily the case because of the way that we define murder, because there are murders that I don't think are as serious as the really heinous example that I gave just a moment ago. Your response to that was to just start back at the beginning and regurgitate everything you have to say about Carmelo Anthony.
If you were in Carmelo Anthony's shoes, would you pull out a knife and stab Austin Metcalf?
I can't answer that without seeing the footage. I genuinely don't know. There is no footage, which is why I can't, I just don't know.
If I walked up to you on the streets and
Stop dodging the topic. Why are you keep going to these... You keep going to these specific hypothetical examples when I'm just trying to... We have one claim right now, which is a person who murders somebody, a capital murder, first-degree murder according to the state, that they should go to prison forever. And I gave some examples about why I don't think that that's necessarily sensible. Can you respond to what I said about that instead of bringing up Carmelo Anthony again? We can get back to Carmelo Anthony after we agree, find some common ground on this, because there's just no use.
I don't even know what you're talking about right now. You're talking about a whole nother case, dude.
I'm not talking about a whole other case. I'm just talking about murder cases generally. I think the statement, anybody who murders somebody should be in prison for the rest of their life, I actually don't agree with that, and I explained why.
I agree with that. They should. But it also depends on what is happening.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't think they should. I think there are counterexamples.
I'm saying I think they should.
Right. But if your whole argument is that one, Carmelo Anthony committed a murder, and that two, because he committed a murder, he should have a bigger sentence. There's two questions here. Did he commit a murder, and what should the sentence be? And we're kind of ping-ponging back and forth between the two instead of having a meaningful dialogue about one of them. So if we are just going to stay on the fact, like if we want to talk about the conviction amount, I'm saying that I don't think it's sensible to say that just because it was a murder, if we're going to assume for the sake of conversation that murder is a fair charge, if we're going to assume that, I still don't think it's fair to say he should get more time. That's my position. But every time we try to get into the nitty gritty of that, you go elsewhere with it. You start bringing up examples about what you think happened, or hypotheticals about somebody doing something to me where I would feel the need to defend myself, or whatever it is. But just, again, can we just stay in one little neighborhood of the conversation instead of moving on to something different every time I say something?
Sure.
So this claim that anybody who murders somebody deserves to go to prison for the rest of their life. Do you recognize my position on that and why I don't necessarily think that's always sensible?
I personally think it depends on what the case is and what actually happened.
Agree. Yeah, totally. That's exactly what I said. So do you agree with me on that?
Sure.
Okay. So just that was a really big concession, and I want to recognize, first of all, like, thank you if that is a concession. I appreciate the honesty. I just want to make sure that I understand the concession, though, because you're really certain that because he was convicted of murder.
Yeah, we agree on that, but depending on the certain cases that we don't.
So just to be clear, you're no longer asserting that just because he committed a murder and was convicted of a murder, or I should say was convicted of a murder, because people disagree about whether murder is a sensible charge. But because he was convicted of a murder, you no longer think that necessarily means he should get life in prison.
No, Carmelo deserves life.
Specifically, never mind the exact details. If I tell you, never mind Carmelo Anthony, we're going to talk about Billy Bob. Billy Bob is a 17-year-old in Texas who was convicted of murder. Is it necessarily always true that Billy Bob has to go to prison for the rest of his life?
What'd he do?
I'm not saying tell me whether or not he should go to prison for the rest of his life. I'm asking if, given what you know about him, you can be certain that he should go to prison for the rest of his life. And because you asked me what did he do, that suggests to me that the answer is no, that he shouldn't necessarily go to prison for the rest of his life, because you need to know what he did. Are you following? So let's just ask again, just to make sure you understand. Billy Bob is a 17-year-old in Texas who has been convicted of murder, first-degree murder. You don't know anything else about him. That is the only thing you know. True or false, it is necessarily true that he should go to prison for the rest of his life.
False.
Okay, so I'm gonna try this again. Carmelo Anthony is a 17-year-old that lives in Texas. He has been convicted of murder. Use that imagination of yours and pretend, just like Billy Bob, you don't know any other details about the case. Should necessarily, just because he was convicted of murder in Texas at the age of 17, do we think that he should go to prison forever? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, so stop saying that.
Stop saying what?
That Carmelo Anthony should go to prison forever because he committed a murder, and you think that all murderers should go to prison forever. That's how you started.
No, but I know what he did.
You can have other reasons for thinking he should go to prison forever, just like you could with Billy Bob. That's fine. That's totally fine. I'm okay with that. That's fine. But just your argument at the beginning of the call was that the reason that he should necessarily have to go to prison forever is because he committed a murder. You are conceding that argument. Is that correct?
Just what he did. It's also how he reacted to what happened. He could have easily just walked away now.
My point is, we do have to look at the details of the case to be certain about this, right? Are we certain about the details of the case? Is there footage of it happening?
Yep, I'm very certain of what happened.
Why?
Because I've heard everything. I've heard everyone talk about it. I've heard all the witnesses. I've heard everything. It's obvious, bro.
How did you hear all of the witnesses?
How is everyone saying the exact same thing, dude? On what happened, if it didn't happen.
Not everybody's saying the same thing. A bunch of people are saying very different things, which is why I am very carefully saying that there's some details I can't be certain.
So when you saw 9/11, did you see the exact same thing that everyone else did?
No, everybody has a different experience. And I was 6 years old. I actually make a real point of not telling people, certainly not in public, because I have a big platform where people remember what I say forever. I'm really careful to not talk about my memories from that day because I was 6 years old and it's one of the most important days in my life. And the psychologists are sure that a 6-year-old's memory from a big, heavy day like that are just not going to be accurate. I know that when I try to remember back to 9/11, I am picturing memories that I have invented from my older siblings and my family members and people around me talking about it. I know that because some of the memories I have from 9/11 are impossible. I remember seeing it with my eyes, but I know that I didn't.
Okay, so now seeing the current Carmelo Anthony case, do you think everyone saw the exact same thing?
I think that everybody who was there, but no, I don't think that everybody's recollection about it is going to be perfect. Memories, especially in these high intensity.
So then why have they all said the exact same thing on what happened?
They didn't.
They pretty much did. Who said something?
Law, can you take it from here?
I'm very curious. How do you know what the witnesses said?
You can listen back to the police footage. of when they arrived and they talked to people.
How do you know what they testified to, though?
Because you could hear what they said, dummy.
No, you don't know what they testified to. You don't know what the cross-examination questions were.
But I do.
How?
By watching the footage.
What footage? What
I
footage
literally
did
just
you
told
see
you.
the cross-examination questions of?
Hey, wait, hold on. Keemokazi, can we just do a very quick experiment?
Sure.
Okay, give me 1 second. I want you to use your listening ears, okay? Can you really lock in for a second? I want you to demonstrate that eyewitness testimony is really, really good, okay? Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say 10 words. The 10 words are pity, pupil, command, exact, expansion, wagon, overcharge, privacy, drawing, offensive. Did you listen?
Sure.
What was the 6th word I said?
Pity. Pupil. Resale.
See? Now, the police officer's asking, what is the 6th word that I said?
What?
Somebody just died. The police officer's asking, what was the 6th word I said?
Pupil. Pity. What was your 6th word?
Okay. So, eyewitness testimony, not great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you think that people give accurate eyewitness testimony when under pressure?
Mm-hmm.
Do you recognize why I did this little experiment?
I mean, I wasn't really paying attention.
Do you want to try again?
If my adrenaline was rushing and I was in that moment.
Oh, yeah. It was a really tense moment. Your adrenaline was rushing. That totally doesn't happen when you watch your friends die at a track meet. Anyway, I'll try again. Are you ready? We'll do round 2. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's going to be a different list of words. The 10 words are vision, flood, butterfly, investment, redundancy, failure, aspect, reactor, production, pattern. What is the 4th word I said?
Butterfly.
That was the 3rd word. The wrong person goes to jail. You lose.
Production.
Dude, come on. I mean, we can try until you get it right by accident. Like, I'm not interested in a broken clock, dude. Come on.
Dude, I thought I heard it, the 4th one.
You didn't.
I swear, it was butterfly, dude. You're changing them up. It was butterfly. Butterfly was the 4th word, dude.
I used a random word generator.
I said investment, dude. I literally said investment after.
Yeah, you're right, but you got it wrong twice, dude. Like, come on. So now you're in the courtroom and you're being interrogated about what you saw, and you're confidently incorrect about what you saw.
This is different, dude. You're insane.
How is this different?
With your eyes is different than memorizing words, dude. Are you insane?
So, what, you're saying that something that somebody hears isn't a good term? Do you want to try it with your eyes? We can try it with your eyes.
Yeah, let's try it with my eyes.
Let's try it with your eyes. Okay, I'm going to generate a new set of words, and I'm going to give you 10 seconds to memorize the list, okay? You going to try?
Yep.
All right, 10 seconds, go. Do 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 do
All right.
do.
Got it already.
What's the 9th word?
Starts with an S.
There you go, buddy. No, it's not starts with an S. It does start with an S, but it's not starts with an S. It's the word systematic. You could have taken a screenshot and cheated, and you didn't even think of that. Again, true or false? Is eyewitness testimony reliable? Is eyewitness testimony reliable?
Yeah. Dude, it's different, bro. Memorizing words and looking at something, watching it
You
happen.
had time to prepare. You knew you were going to be quizzed. You knew the way in which you were going to be quizzed, and you still got it wrong. These people...
If I went and saw someone jump off a slide, That's different than memorizing words, dude. 10 words.
There was a study done where people were shown footage of a car accident and they were asked questions like, was there any broken glass on the ground? Now, in the car accident footage, there wasn't any broken glass on the ground, but they found that if you asked them a question like, was there any broken glass on the ground when the cars bumped into each other? People would say no, having watched the footage. But if you ask the question like, was there any glass on the ground when the cars violently smashed into each other, even though they had seen the same footage, hearing violently smashed instead of bumped into each other primed their mind, because when you remember something, your brain does this thing where it looks at the neural pathways that were activated during the memory and it rebuilds the situation. Everything that you're seeing right now is your imagination. There's only a small area in the middle of your field of vision where the data is really accurate, and as you get farther away from the center, your brain is filling the gaps. That's what you do when you memorize things.
About all the witnessing the exact same thing.
So the people who were primed to think that there would be broken glass at the car accident remembered seeing broken glass even though there wasn't. And that is the sort of way that eyewitness testimony is magnificently unreliable, which is why when we have a case...
It is, then why'd they all say the same thing?
Law.
How do you know what they testified to? Not what they told police officers. What did they testify to on the stand? How do you know that? Because that's what's used in court.
I don't know. I didn't watch the court case.
That's right. You didn't. So you don't know what they testified to, and you don't know what they said on cross-examination. That's what matters in court. Your issue is you are coming to your conclusions based off of your own presuppositions and biases. You would never have gotten onto that jury because you don't have the ability to think objectively.
I wasn't trying to be in the jury. I had the smart people doing it for me. That's why he's guilty right now. 35 years.
So you're moving your position from having seen the evidence yourself and analyzed it to trusting the smart people. Who are the smart people?
The jurors.
Okay, so if the jury system always picks smart people, then you would say that the jury in the E. Jean Carroll case were smart people who were right when they found Donald Trump liable for having sexually abused E. Jean Carroll. Is that correct?
He didn't, because E. Jean Carroll's a liar, dude. We already know this.
But the jury.
Doesn't matter, because the jury was stupid. If they went back to the case right now.
Okay, wait. I figured it out. Okay, so the Carmelo Anthony case, the jury's smart. In E. Jean Carroll's case, the jury is stupid. How did you figure out that one of the juries was stupid and the other jury was smart?
Because E. Jean Carroll's a liar, and it's obvious. She said it about 22 other men.
I thought that you trusted the jury and the smart people. Now you're going back to the evidence.
Yeah, I do. I was talking about the jury for the Carmelo Anthony case, not the jury for the Trump case.
Yeah, and how do you know them to be so different from one another? How do you know
them? Look at them and listen to them and tell how smart they are. You know?
Did you do that? Because the Law of the Wild just asked if you did that to the witnesses for the Carmelo Anthony case.
But I did for the Trump case.
You've investigated the jurors. You've looked into their character.
Don't need to. You can just tell by what they say.
You said you looked at the jurors. You can tell if someone's
guilty or not because E. Jean Carroll's a liar, dude, and we all know this. And if E. Jean Carroll's a liar and the jurors agree with her, then they're insane too, right? When two odds make a right, you dumb.
Do you know what being objective means?
Yeah, I do.
Do you have the ability to be objective?
Do you?
Do you have the ability to be objective?
You have the ability to be objective?
Do you have the ability to be objective? See, answering a question with a question doesn't work, so I'll just keep asking it. I'm sure Oscar will get tired of it at some point and kick.
Oh no, I love it. You keep it up.
I hope he kicks you because you're an idiot.
Do you have the ability to be objective?
Do you have the ability to be knowledgeable?
Do you have the ability to be objective?
You have the ability to be a lawyer?
Do you have the ability to be objective?
You have the ability to be autistic?
Oh, that was mean, dude. I know you're just a kid, but if you like I said, man, I just wrapped up being a high school teacher.
You're lucky I'm not saying other stuff.
No, dude. If you said that in my classroom,
if this was on your Discord call, I would absolutely be frying this dude right now.
Okay, dude. If you were in my classroom though, I'd sit you down and say that you just took a group of people who were really disadvantaged and used them for benefit in your argument, and I'd ask you if you think that's a good thing to do.
Good. I guess I'm smart for that.
Hold on, I want to ask again, and I really want an answer. You took a group of people. Would you say it's fair to say that people who have autism are kind of disadvantaged when it comes to having a successful, happy life?
I really don't care, bro. They're their own people. Don't care.
I'm really sad that you don't care. That's unfortunate.
I do care to an extent. I just don't care for what you're asking me.
I just think that people who have autism and people who care about people who have autism really don't like it when people do that sort of thing, and I think it's a very mean thing for you to do.
What are you gonna go cry about it? Are you gonna go cry about it?
I'm doing what I do about it when an 18-year-old does that sort of thing, and I'm just saying that I think that people are going to see.
I said it to a grown-ass man, by the way. I said it to a grown-ass man.
Yeah, but we're not talking about him. We're talking about the people with autism who you abused in order to get a dig in against law.
I abuse him?
You took
don't
advantage.
Think autistic people talk shit too?
Do you think people are going to like you in your life, Keemokazi? Do you think this is a way to make friends?
Yeah, I've got a lot of people who like me. Do you think you are by being a liberal?
I've made a lot of friends in my time online. It's been pretty incredible the way my circles have expanded.
Your only friend, Raven. Congrats, bro. You got Raven as your friend.
I consider Law of the Wild a friend, and he's a pretty cool guy.
Law of the Wild is just a complete idiot. Please get him out of here. He's almost worse than Raven. Oh my gosh, look at this dude. Please turn back off the camera, bro. Please turn it off. No, don't take off the glasses. No. Oh my gosh. Please turn off the camera.
Keemokazi, you and I have talked about the fact that being gay is a choice. You think it is. I think Law of the Wild is making it hard for us. I don't think it is going to be a choice after this call.
Being gay. I got. Hey,
what did he get removed for?
I'll catch you.
Harassment and bullying. Goodbye, Keemokazi. Nice to meet you face to face, Law of the Wild.
Yeah. I was. I'm hoping I can come check you out on Thursday night with Michael. So. Yeah.
Are you gonna make it tomorrow?
It depends. I've got an event that I'm at that's going to butt up to it. So if I can get out of it with enough time to head over there, I absolutely will.
Beer's on me if that's the case. I'd be really excited to shake your hand. You certainly deserve it after the week I've had.
You've had quite the week. It's been a good run.
Yeah, a lot. Things are moving quickly, and I'm drowning in workload, but in such a good way. So I want to celebrate that fact because it's.
Well, I know how you feel because I did just public defense for several years after law school, and ended up moving to a part-time role with public defense so I could take on private clients, and most of that was brought on by Operation Metro Surge. I wanted the ability to help immigrants and help people who were caught up in the system, but I couldn't do that as a public defender because I had to dedicate 100% of my resources. But shit, the difference from going to just a job where you just kind of show up and do the work versus now you have to make all of your own work. You have to produce all of your own product. You have to sing for your supper. It is quite the shift.
Yeah. Thankfully, I've had a bunch of experience being self-employed, just in my life generally. So I'm not necessarily so afraid of tax season next year, but I do know I am going to be filing a lot of different sources of income because it's just a mess.
Yeah,
keeping up with everything.
I've been down that road before too, but it's just different when you go from, it's that transition from you being a teacher to, you show up, you clock in, you do the work. And of course, I'm also a substitute teacher, but your work goes well beyond the hours that you put in on the clock. But then to actually have to go and think every day, what am I going to do tomorrow to produce something that's going to be valuable? That's a very taxing thing. So I admire you for taking that plunge, and will continue to support you however I can.
W's in the chat for Law of the Wild. Shall I kick you for the algorithm?
Please do.
Thank you so much, Law. Seriously, W's in the chat for Law. Where are we? We're in hour 52, so we could get one more debate in. We don't necessarily have to finish right at 12 today because the rest of the day is mostly open for me. I will take a moment to thank the donors, though, because Daniel sent me, or is it Daniel or Danielle? Danielle sent me $35 on Venmo. Thank you so much. She said, "Hi, you're amazing. When you use the term pick me girl, I feel sad and distracted from your message. It feels like a new way to insult women. I prefer gender neutral insults. Pick me's are the result of women grappling with their opposition. Can you please say it sparingly?" Yeah, I will. I have been kind of tossing it around a lot lately because of the Jubilee video, but when I think about someone like Kenzie, I might still call her a pick-me girl. She's a pretty magnificent pick-me girl. But I'll take that into consideration. I value that I get like a greater worldview than just my own, sitting up here with so many people watching and contributing to what a sensible way to handle this is. Because when it comes to something like saying the N-word, like the best argument for not using the N-word as a white person is that it really hurts a bunch of people's feelings. And if you value that, then you shouldn't. So I take it seriously when people say that something I'm doing is rubbing them the wrong way, because if I can still effectively talk to those types of people and make them look bad in a way that doesn't hurt Danielle's feelings, I would prefer that. Because Danielle's awesome. She likes what I'm doing. And I appreciate that. So yeah, I'll take that into consideration. Alex said, this guy is insufferable. His mind is a stone wall. I don't know who he's talking about. But so it goes on the show. And Kina sent me $20 to say, nice content, saw you before Dean. That's the club, right? Who was on the Oskar Quentin train before Dean made it popular. But it is pretty exciting to me that Dean is making it popular. That's a pretty big deal to me. Blowmac screamed slurs the last time I let him in. Chat. Jesse wants a song. Oh, I'm not warmed up. No. I'll do a song tomorrow. I haven't picked up the guitar in a day or two. I'm probably out of practice. Fall out of practice quickly because I haven't been like good for long enough for it to just be like perfect muscle memory. Joseph sent me $5 on Cash App to say, you are killing it, my friend. Thank you. I'm going to keep teasing the audience. Thank you so much, Joseph. He donates every day. Debbie's in the chat for Joseph. I'm going to keep teasing the audience on the songs. We've got some YouTube Super Chats to answer because we've got Sack, who sent $2 to say, the witnesses are liars too then. Yeah, Keemokazi is wildly inconsistent. Where did that one go? Oh my god, I'm losing track of all the super chats. Jazz sent $5 to say, vote for banning this dingus for being blatantly disingenuous and cult-brained for the Fjerde Donald Trumpf. Yeah, Keemokazi might be banned from the show. That's a possibility. For the same reason as El Chico Tech EDU. I think in particularly with that jury thing and a couple of other points about what happened today, he demonstrated himself to be uniquely unable to follow an argument. He also thinks that the earth is flat and that Artemis didn't go to the moon and a bunch of stuff like that. Like there's no talking to the guy. Joker sent me $10 on YouTube Super Chat to say, normally I think kids are misinformed and they can change all the optimism. Sorry, I'm going to start over. Normally I think kids are misinformed and they can change and all the optimistic shit, but that kid is too far gone. I doubt how much you can change where you're an incel before you can even drink. Yeah, no good. Digital sent me $5 on YouTube Super Chat to say, so glad I found you on Dean's VOD. You've got a great future ahead and look forward to listening to someone new while at work. Appreciate you. Welcome to the crazy show that I run, the Oskar Quentin show, here on YouTube and TikTok. Kronos says, I'm back from my lunch in 6 minutes, so have a great rest of the show, Oscar. Thank you so much for the $5 on YouTube Super Chat, Kronos. I absolutely appreciate it. I wasn't looking at the chat for if the mods think I should have Blowmac up, because I don't know. You know what? I'm not going to get a 3-day ban for a guest violation. I'll bring him up and see if he can behave himself, but I'm going to hover the disconnect button and we're going to see if.
Hey man, I never said slurs. Okay,
I forget what it was. You did some kind of.
No, I just called old people in your audience pedophiles because they follow along a lot of young children, including this Jay guy, the Jay guy that donates to you. That guy's a creep, something tells me. And you're a swipe like cuck, faggot, retard, nigger.
Yeah, okay, so there we go. So Blowmac is gonna be banned forever. Whatever. Why did he bother saying that he wasn't gonna do it if he went and did it anyway? I don't know. Let's see if we can get one more in. I know we're losing the viewership, but I'm gonna see if Keemokazi, get out of my queue. MVN Cub. We're going to see if this is a serious conversation. Hello, how old are you?
Brother, I'm 32.
What's up?
Listen, look. I want to apologize for every little 18-year-old that came from a MAGA perspective and disrespected you, because that boy Korey, he was cooking you, but the way he ended really, really irked me.
Which one was Korey?
Korey was the dude that called you an N-word when he left after you was about to kick him off. Like,
oh yeah,
that was uncalled for. And he was whooping your ass. That didn't make no sense.
Okay, I don't think he was whooping my ass.
Listen. Wait. I don't even know if my camera's on or not. Anyway, I'm looking at the screen like it is. Anyway. I just want to say, yes, I do rock with my boy Donnie. You hear me? I rock with Donnie, and I rock with Ice. So that's why I came up here, because it seems to me that you might hate you hate yourself. Do you hate white people? I really wanted to know this. I've been looking at your chat, and everything is so anti-white. And I'm a black man from Philly. You hear me? I was born in New York, but it is what it is. That's where my accent's from.
Okay.
Do you hate white people, bro?
No.
All right. Thank you. I'm glad you don't. So, people that do hate white people hate Trump. People that also hate black people hate Trump.
You know, I think that the statement. Hey, you've been talking. Can I get a word in? Excuse me, sir.
Because I've been watching for like an hour, bro. I just want to get that one statement out.
No, I'm not gonna let you move on from it. I don't usually mute button on my show, so I am gonna talk over you because I'd like to respond to something that you said. You said that people who hate white people hate Trump. Do you think that maybe that's like not the most interesting thing to say because Trump is white?
No, he's not. He's orange.
Do you think
it's racist? They hate orange people. Like, what the hell, bro?
I'm not going to dignify that with a response. You got anything else?
All right. Yes, I do. I have a lot.
Baggage is
for
what
example,
you got a lot of.
No, I don't got a lot of baggage, bro. I've been doing this for a very long time, like 25 years. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I hate the right and I hate the left. I put up an AI generated picture of myself up here that says "Make America Great Again," and I got nothing but hate from liberals. So what I'm saying is, especially in Philadelphia, it's nothing but gay white people attacking black people for having their own dignified opinions about politics. And I went to a Harambe Aerodynamics middle school, so I've been on this stuff. Okay. I was here on 9/11. You know what I mean? That they called Donald Trump during 9/11 about the structural damage. They did. You should be old enough to know if you're a teacher, unless you're like a new age teacher. You might be younger. I don't know. I'm 32. You see what I'm saying? I don't know.
I'm 30. Show me what those extra 2 years bring you in wisdom.
The wisdom comes from my experience. That's what I'm telling you. I'm a black man in a ghetto ass fucking city. And my mayor is terrible, and then all of my people are voting blue no matter who, even if the person is simply APAC or simply going against our conservative ideals, because black people.
I might give him another chance a different day. I don't think I got the patience for that shit today. That was interesting. Announcement. We had Tom Evanstad, who's this like local crazy guy running for governor of Minnesota, on my evening show, Sunday evening, 7 p.m. Central Time. It's kind of just nonsense. He just let the guy yell. He he shouted the N-word while trying to say that he was going to win the black vote. Craziness. But I think a real politician saw it and reached out to me, so we're gonna have Doug Chapin, who's running for the 6th congressional district in Minnesota, who might actually win and might actually be a vote for impeachment in November. He's going to be the guest on the evening show at 7 p.m. Central Time this Sunday. So if you want to talk, if you want to see me have a conversation with an actual politician, if you want to know what that's like, because that's never happened before, it's going to happen live on my YouTube channel, not on TikTok, so we don't have to worry about the censorship. I will be doing an actual political interview. So that's exciting. Follow the YouTube, linktree in the bio. What's up, Raven?
Hi. I heard Keemokazi writing more love letters about me, so I was wondering if we wanted to do that thing.
Oh, Keemokazi, get in the queue. Keemokazi, I'll let you back up. Show's not over, folks. If he's still here, let me see if he's in the guest request thing. I should like follow him so I can see him in the invite queue, because it shows you your friends. Oh, do we have him? There's so many people watching. It's hard to find. Oh, Keemokazi. Keemokazi, come back. Where are you? There's battle to be done. But Scout wants attention. Scout wants my attention. Scout wants the show to be over. She wants me to give her treats.
In the meantime, while we wait for Keemokazi to come back, I could also make a comment about the ballistic missile conversation I had earlier.
Remind everybody what you did for the Air Force, Raven.
I maintained our ICBM nuclear capabilities in the Air Force.
W Raven in the chat for her service. I was a little wrong about some of the labeling about ballistic missiles. What do you got to say?
Yeah. So first of all, fact check me if I'm wrong here, but we're still allowing them to have ballistic missiles in this new deal. But besides the point here, one point I think you can use to argue why it's not important to attack Iran just because they may have nuclear capabilities, it's that mutual assured destruction thing that you were talking about earlier. But we can use an active example with that with Russia. They have tons of ICBMs as well. And we have a treaty with them specifically called the START Treaty, Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, where we go and inspect their nukes, they inspect our nukes. You know, they don't nuke us because we'll nuke the crap out of them. That is actively happening right now. They have the nukes. And so what we should be more worried about rather than Iran potentially having nukes in the future is the fact that if Russia loses this war in Ukraine, they're probably going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, that's a concern. I think that would have been over the guest's head.
Absolutely.
Probably. But I so appreciate your expertise. It's like people like you and Law of the Wild coming up and just like telling it how it really is. Because I'm just an asshole on the internet whose brain works. I'm not really all that like knowledgeable about anything.
You do wonderful. Critical thinking kind of covers a lot of bases there.
Yeah. You know, I get things wrong sometimes. I did today. It happens, but...
Yeah, well, it doesn't seem like Keemokazi is going to come back up.
No, that'll happen another day, because I do support Raven v. Keemokazi happening on the show. I think people should be excited about that. But I think that's...
It won't even take long. I'll eviscerate him in like 20 seconds.
No,
and then we can ban him forever.
Yeah, we just gotta... We have a fun little gag we're going to do with Keemokazi when he comes back, and then I think that'll be his last appearance, because he's a waste of time. You got anything before I kick you for the algorithm?
No, thanks for having me. Love you, chat.
Thanks so much, Raven. Everybody go follow Oskar Quentin 2, which is down here if you're watching on TikTok. It's at the bottom of my link tree in the bio if you're watching somewhere else. If you're watching this after the fact on YouTube or wherever you're watching me, go follow me everywhere because it helps out to get those numbers bigger. But especially right now, we're focusing on getting Oskar Quentin 2 up. I want to get that to 10K, even though I just got to 10K on the main account. But I've got more followers elsewhere. If I could just get them to come follow my TikTok accounts, that would be incredible. And if you want to support the show, you can send money to my Venmo, Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, or Patreon in the link tree in the bio. I use that money. I give it to my landlords. They love that. I bring it to the grocery store. They give me food. All about that. Tomorrow, I'm going to buy a couple of beers at the bar. I'm going to give them to Law of the Wild and Michael Unmuted because they might be stopping by if their schedules work out. So that's going to be pretty cool. And I actually might be spending some of it on a beer for Iowa Golfer because he's in town. And I told him that I appreciate his presence on the show and I wanted to buy him a beer. So that might be what I was doing today. Might be what I'm doing later today. Thanks, everybody. Seriously, been a crazy week, been a wild week. Crazy numbers this week. It's very, very exciting. There's a bunch of exciting stuff in the back happening in the background. The Sunday show, 7 p.m. Central Time, is going to feature an actual politician this time, which is what I'm after. I want to change the way politics gets discussed in the public. The mainstream media has been dropping the ball, and the community on here has not been dropping the ball on giving me a chance to participate in it. So I'm going to try to demonstrate that I'm a good player in that field starting Sunday, 7 p.m. Central Time. And if you are a member anywhere, if you pay the monthly fee to be a member on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, you can hang out after that show and unpack it with me in the members only FAQ stream, which last week I got a little tipsy and we talked for 3 hours and it was lots of fun. But that's private. That's just for the members. No debates or anything like that. That content's never going to be paywalled, but just kick it and, do kind of an AMA, ask me questions and stuff. That sort of thing is there. So if you want to join somewhere, that's what you get for that. Thanks to all the people, especially those who... Scout is like attacking me. What do you want, Scout? She wants attention. I got to go play with my cat. Anyway, I just wanted to thank the people who are members without getting anything in return for months. But now there is something for being a member, which is the after show for the Sunday evening Central Time Oskar Quentin evening show. I hope so many politicians want to talk to me that I have to do it more than once a week, and that's the next step. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow, 10 Central Time, here on TikTok and YouTube Live. Goodbye, TikTok. And goodbye, YouTube.